Bespoke radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Good evening. Fade to Black. Bespoke radio. For the masses. Yeah. How you doing? Today's Tuesday. Tuesday, March 26th, 2019. 85 days into the new year, just 280 days left. We are live from a bunker somewhere in the middle of beautiful downtown Burbank, California. I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States. Hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the Planet. I am your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? All right. I'm excited. Tonight, very special guest, An0maly. An0maly is back. We've got a lot to talk about tonight with An0maly, and first things first out of the gate tonight will be his experience with fake news and the mass media that went down last week. An extraordinary situation, so we're going to go through all of that tonight. That's right. And the last time An0maly was on the show, and I'm going to go back, I think it was right after the NAMM show. So it was about 2 months ago. The Jussie Smollett stuff had just gone down, and we discussed that. And that is breaking news today. And, of course, we will be covering that. And he recently, and this is no joke, he recently interviewed Roseanne Barr. And I want to know how that went down. And so we'll be talking about that and some other headlines. And we'll take it to the top. All right. Tonight, An0maly is here. Tomorrow night, right here on Fade to Black, John Greenwald, The Black Vault. His new book is out. It's called Inside the Black Vault. And we'll be talking about not only the book and his career, but his recent work and disclosure of documents and what is going on out there in the world of UFOs. So that will be tomorrow night right here on Fade to Black. John Greenwald. Thursday night's another Fader night. Open lines all night long. It's my favorite night of the week. Well, besides, I always say that, right? That it's my favorite night of the week. Besides today, besides tonight, the current show that I'm doing is my favorite show. Right. But man, I get to Thursday night and it is so much fun. So open lines, Fader night on Thursday. You can follow me right now on Twitter at JChurchRadio. You know what to do. And Facebook and YouTube. You can go follow, like, and subscribe right now over at JimmyChurchRadio.com. If you want to follow along with the show, it is easy to do. We've got so many ways to hang out. The show is interactive with all of you, hence Bespoke Radio, right? Hashtag F2B on Twitter is the sandbox. Very simple. That's F, the number 2, and B. Fade to black, right? F2B. That's the sandbox. You want any questions tonight for myself or Anomaly? Hashtag F2BQ. We have 2 chat rooms, one over at Spreaker and one over at KGRA, The Planet. So you can go and hang out there too as well if that's what you would like to do. And you can also email Jimmy at jimmychurchradio.com. Okay, now, crazy, let's just kick this off. A crazy news day. How often do I say crazy news day? How often? Oh, is it Taco Tuesday? Oh, man, we just might have to go there, Frankie. Is it? Yes, it is. It's Taco Tuesday. All right. See, that's what Twitter does, because Twitter, look, here's the camera, there's Twitter, and it's flicking by with TweetDeck, and there's a Taco Tuesday. Yes, okay. If you want to see all these crazy memes and you want to see what everybody's posting, hashtag F2B. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio and then hashtag F2B. And you can see what's going on. Yes, thank you for that, Kevin. He just posted pictures of me wearing my Surfer T-shirt. That's right, Surfer, the music app. More on that in just a bit. Breaking news, though. All charges against actor Jussie Smollett, who had been accused of staging a hate crime and filing a false police report, have been dropped. Okay, we'll be talking with Anomaly about this here in a few short minutes. And, you know, when you have the mayor of Chicago and the police chief of Chicago, you know, step up in their press conferences, certainly implying that he is not innocent of anything, and we don't know why the charges were dropped, and this is nuts. It's crazy, but Chicago is Chicago. It really is. That's right. You know, I'm from Chicago. Chicago's an interesting city. So what is really going on? Oh, all right, we'll save all of this for Anomaly. He'll be on here in just a bit. But also today, some pretty crazy breaking news. I mean, yeah, Justin Bieber. Okay, save it. Save it. Save the email. Save the post. Save the drama. But yes, Justin Bieber's in the news because he announced today that he is stepping away from music because of deep-rooted issues. Very interesting. I remember last year, somebody sent me a video clip of the Biebs out in front of some building. He's on the street, and his fans are coming up, and he's like wigging, right? Like meth wigging, and just saying weird things and doing weird things. I just thought, man, that's somebody that's troubled. That's somebody that's dabbling into things, right? And he's rich, you know, and there you go. It's just crazy. I hate to see anybody go through all of this, but you know, and then he follows up with, well, you know, and then I'm going to be coming back with the best album ever. So it's a pretty strange thing to announce, but he is a big star, and there you go. He's not quite Canada's finest, but we seem to have adopted him down here. Also today, a Boeing 737 MAX 8 aircraft declared an emergency landing earlier today in Florida after experiencing a reported engine problem. But no problems were aboard the Southwest Airlines Flight 8701, which was being ferried from Orlando, Florida, all the way to the West Coast to Victorville, right up the street here from Fade to Black, Victorville, California, for short-term storage. That's where all of those MAX 8s are being parked, apparently. And there you go. All right. Also, very bizarre situation. This, with what we deal here with every night on Fade to Black, right? Conspiracy theories, lost history, you know, Egypt, Central and South America, and the Mayans and the Aztecs and and all of that stuff. Well, today, the president of Mexico, Andrés Obrador, he said today that he sent a letter to the Spanish government and Pope Francis at the Vatican asking them to apologize to the Mexican people for their conquest of the country 500 years ago. You think he's going to get a response? Yeah, that's bizarro world right there. But he's doing the right thing. All right, I just mentioned I'm wearing my Surfer music streaming app T-shirt. That's right. It's right here. Check it out. Check it out. Right? You need to download it. The app is available right now, and it's 100% free. All you have to do is download it. You don't sign up. You don't give up any of your personal information, your email, nothing like that. Just go to the banners at jimmychurchradio.com or go to surfer.fm. It's super easy. It's super fun. It's super cool. All you have to do is download it and start streaming. That's it. It's that simple. Get the Surfer music streaming app today. All right, just click on the banners over at jimmychurchradio.com. Our next conference coming up is Contact in the Desert. It is May 31st through June 3rd in Indian Wells, Palm Springs, California at the Renaissance Indian Wells Resort and Spa. Tickets and info are over at contactinthedesert.com. We have 3 nights of Fade to Black events that we will be doing. Friday night, we're broadcasting live like we do each year from Contact in the Desert with all of you Fadernauts, live studio audience. Saturday night, I'll be hosting the awards dinner, and you need to get separate tickets for that. I want to see all Fadernauts there, everybody wearing their Fade to Black shirts. It's going to be great. That's Saturday night. Sunday night, I'll be hosting the closing night ceremonies and panel. Okay, and that'll be Sunday night. So we got 3 nights of Fade to Black at Contact in the Desert. Tickets and info, full schedule, everything is there. Contactinthedesert.com. And then coming up, July 4th weekend, it is our 2019 Soul Tech Conference, Soul Tech 2.0. in Loveland, Colorado. You can sign up right now. Get your tickets and info at soultechgathering.com, and there we have full schedule. Got a really nice email today about the website. Yeah, it was really cool. Jimmy, you're not hyping it enough. The website is gorgeous, and it's got everything there and all the information. Thank you, and I'll see you there. And, it's just one of those emails. And go and check it out, soultechgathering.com. All right, schedule, accommodations, food, schedule, everything, all of the speakers, all of the bios, everything is there, and it's a beautiful website. So go and do it now. Get your tickets for Soul Tech 2.0 at soultechgathering.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast. It is just $2 a month. $2 a month. Help support the show. We have over 1,000 shows right there archived for your listening pleasure. It is just $2 per month. Also, you can become a Fadernaut over in our membership section at jimmychurchradio.com. And it just helps support the show, but you also get to become an official Fadernaut. And if you sign up for the Game Changer, if you do, you get an autographed shirt, autographed hat. Hats are only available to Game Changers. We don't give them away. We don't sell them. Those ultra cool hats, which are, by the way, with the embroidery and the way that that's done by hand. Yeah, those don't come in from China. Nope, they're made locally right here in Burbank. So there you go. Go get your stuff right now. So are the shirts. Shirts are hand silk screened. I want to let everybody know. You can ask anybody that's got a Fade to Black T-shirt. The quality that is there. Hand silk screened front and back. We've gone through so many manufacturers and trying to get the right quality. And early on, we found this family-owned business, hand silk screening, and the quality is just incredible. And that's what we have here, both with the shirts and the hats. So go and get yours. You can get shirts if you want right there at jimmychurchradio.com too. If you want me to sign them, just let me know. Okay? All right. Let's get the show cracking. Happy birthday to today, the one and only, and I can't even believe I'm going to say what I'm about to say. Steven Tyler today is 71 years old. Right? 71. Diana Ross today is 75. James Caan today is 79. And Martin Short today is 69. And our dead guy's birthday, Leonard Nimoy. 1931 to 2015. Made it all the way to the age of 83. Of course, Mr. Spock. But I'm just going to say that. Can I say this? Can I say it? Dr. William Bell on Fringe. Way to close it out. I don't know if, let's see, he did 3 years on the original Star Trek. You know, did the films too, but, 3 years. I think he did like 3 years on Fringe. Maybe 4. Yeah. Yeah, Dr. William Bell. He was great. On this day in history, OTD 2008. Did I just see that? Surfer just. It's a good tweet. That was quick. On this day in history, where I am at, let's see here. OTD 2008. Ford sells Jaguar and Land Rover to India's Tata. You probably didn't even know. Who is Tata? Right? It's a big car company, and they own Jaguar and Land Rover today. Crazy. Fate or fact? All right, here you go. It's vetted, so don't trip. Living above the 800-foot elevation in New York City is an exclusive privilege for the super uber rich. That's right. That's the number that the rich strive for, to live above 800 feet in New York. Only 40 people in New York City live above it. And that is your fate or fact. Tonight, Anomaly is here. We've got a lot to talk about with Anomaly. His experience last week, which had to do with St. Paddy's Day, right? So what's going on with that? It was a serious brush with fake news and the mass media, and he was at the center of it. We'll be talking about all of that, and we're going to go through all of these crazy headlines and get his take on everything. So we'll be doing that tonight. Tomorrow night, John Greenwald, The Black Vault. His new book is out. It is called Inside the Black Vault. We're going to be talking about his new book and his career, but also his recent research and disclosure documents. Okay, so that'll be tomorrow night. Thursday, of course, is another Fader night. Now, oh man, I need to, I've got something in my throat, and the only thing that I can do right now, River Moon Coffee. Fade to Black blend. The BBC, it's like this. I would say that I get between 10 and 20 emails per day from you talking about UFOs, the universe, exoplanets, fast radio bursts in mainstream media. And you guys, I get it every single day. Jimmy, check this out. This is over here. This is, once again, it's the, and I get it all day long. Last week, the BBC, you guys sent me this. The BBC did a huge article on exoplanets and exoplanet discovery. And it was one of those articles where I read through the whole thing. And it was basically, I'll summarize, basically how the numbers are officially in the 4,000 range for exoplanet discovery, with another 3,000 waiting to be booked and tagged, and how the numbers from different groups don't match, and they broke that down, why the exoplanet number could be much higher, and some are saying it's lower, but nonetheless that the numbers are generally huge. But that's not really the big story here. And although they touched upon a few points that I've been driving home here on Fade to Black for the last 6 years. So let me summarize a couple of things, and let me just repeat not only what the BBC referenced in this article. It seems to me that BBC listens to Fade to Black, but also what I have been talking about for the last 5 or 6 years. And it seems that finally the message is starting to get out there. And this is what I want you to do. I want you to just put all of these numbers in your mind. All right? So when you go out there now and you look at somebody's UFO video, or you look at a UFO pic, or you have a sighting, or somebody shares something, or somebody says something on the show, you need to think about what I'm about to say at the same time. Just always keep this in the back of your mind. And especially, right? Now that's on the positive side. And especially when somebody wants to just debunk or be a skeptic on the alien ET UFO question. You can drop this bomb on them every single time. All right? And it's this. We're going to start with the number 1. Okay? This is where you need to start. The number 1. Because it's relative for 2 different reasons. The first one is, one lifetime ago, let's base it on 100 years. One lifetime ago, we only had the Milky Way, and one. And in that one lifetime ago, the Milky Way was the universe. Okay? One lifetime ago. And at that time, Earth was it. Earth was it. Oh, yes, we had planets in our solar system. But we thought that it was it, and that's where life existed, and that's it. And the Milky Way, it was one lifetime ago, and one man made the discovery, and his name was Edwin Hubble. Edwin Hubble peeked into a telescope in 1924, and he was looking at what he thought were what they were calling these gas clouds, these nebulae, out, and discovered another galaxy. So now there were 2. But the other thing is that he discovered is things were moving and that the universe was expanding. And all of this came out later. But his first discoveries that he made in 1924, because he started to find other galaxies, they were not published until 1929. Now, this is 2019. Okay? The number is 1. You need to think about that. Not until 1995 was the first exoplanet discovered. There's your other number 1. And when the BBC pointed this out, which are all of the facts in the way that I've always presented things here on Fade to Black, I felt like I was doing a review of Fade to Black. And it was confirmation of everything that I've been talking about, okay? But this is where things really get bizarre for the rest of the world. Because up until 1995, we didn't know if there was another Earth out there next to another star. And it was finally confirmed, 1995. First exoplanet. And then over the next 5 years, 14 more were discovered. And that takes us up to the year 2000, right? How did we go from the year 2000, which seems like yesterday, today is 2019, where now the numbers, the confirmed numbers, are 4,000 cataloged and named, confirmed Earth-like exoplanets out there. 4,000. And like I said, with another 3,000, and actually the number's a little higher, and now they've passed 4,000. And as of today, over the last week, right, the number now is about 10K confirmed. Okay? All right. The other 3,000 that are waiting, they got to get named, they got to get cataloged, and all of that stuff has to happen. Okay? But they're pretty comfortable in saying right now, today, it's about 10,000. 10,000. That is a rate per day that is unbelievable, and it's going to get higher because of the way that they're finding these planets. But this is where the BBC blew the doors off. Could not believe it that it was stated. And that is, scientists today, astronomers today, astrophysicists today, all agree on this. That there are more stars, more planets in the Milky Way than there are stars. Now, that is an extraordinary statement, one that I've been making here on Fade to Black. But now, to think about this, and the numbers in the BBC article are low. The BBC article states that there are 100 billion stars in the Milky Way and over 100 billion planets. Now, that number is, depending on where you go, it can go up to 250,000 or 250 billion to 500 billion stars in the Milky Way. But what they do agree is that every star that we look at, everything that you see has a planet or two. Every single one. Now, what does that do for us? When we back off of that number, and this is what you just need to just plant inside of your mind. When anybody says anything, you can go, you know what, man? There's 100 billion planets in the Milky Way. We are not alone. And if you take a small percentage of that, 100 billion, 200 billion, and you back off of that and you go to 1/10 of 1%. 1/10 of 1%. We're talking about 25 million plus planets that are exactly like Earth. Exactly like Earth. Goldilocks, covered in water, same age, maybe a little older, and teeming with life. In our Milky Way. It's crazy. And that's where we are today. It's a wonderful time for us to be here with the discovery and what's going on. We've got the Webb telescope is getting ready to go up, and it is going to start banging out exoplanets like you wouldn't believe. We're going to bag and tag. There you go. This is Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, our guest is Anomaly. We are going to have an amazing conversation tonight. Why? Well, Anomaly has been talking about the same things that I've been talking about here for a long time. Fake news, the mass media, manipulation. And it's one thing to talk about it, and it's another thing to be a victim. Wait till you hear what happened to Anomaly last week. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. I'll be right back with tonight's guest, Anomaly, right after this short break. Stay with me.
This is Nicole Church, daughter of you-know-who, and you're listening to Fade to Black on JimmyChurchRadio.com and the Game Changer Network.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code F2BBlend for 15% off of your order today. Gobekli Tepe. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can get our podcast for just $2 per month. All you have to do is click on the podcast banner over at jimmychurchradio.com.
Hey, folks. Guess what the number one phrase that Life Change Tea receives by email? You ready? We love this tea. We love this tea. Time after time, week after week, we love this tea. Life Change Tea gives you more energy, a beautiful cleansing, and fulfills its slogan perfectly. The tea that makes you go. So if you want to be on your health game, log on to getthetea.com and order Life Change Super Strength Tea. Packages come in a 1-month supply, and when you brew this stuff, wait until you see the results. Aren't we all about the results? And with a lot of people's health struggling, we can use a little bit of help. Doctors will tell you disease starts in the gut. So log on to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Be our next email saying, I love this tea. I love this tea. Get the tea at getthetea.com. Helping America one tea bag at a time.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Do you want to lose weight but have no idea where to begin? The Fast Start Diet, a 3-day weight loss plan, is the answer. 3 days of nutritionally balanced, calorie-restricted meals delivered right to your door. No shopping, no measuring, and no cooking. Everything is prepared for you and ready to eat at home or on the go. The Fast Start Diet has all the amazing benefits of intermittent fasting without starving. We've helped thousands of people who have struggled to reach their weight loss goals. Isn't it time we helped you? With the Fast Start Diet, you'll lose weight and feel great.
Find Fast Start Diet on Amazon or go to faststartdiet.com and use promo code TALK to get 10% off your first box. And as a special bonus, Fast Start will include their #1 rated Lipo3 appetite suppressant spray free with your order. This is Jimmy Church. And whatever your diet plans are, do what I did. Go to faststartdiet.com.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from An0maly, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. You can follow An0maly. An0maly's got the, it's legendary energy. It is legendary. An0maly is here. New Jersey raised, West Virginia affiliated, but he's right here in Southern California right now. An0maly is a groundbreaking news analyst, hip-hop artist, video producer, creative visionary. Combining elements of spirituality, philosophy, and real life, An0maly has become a leading voice of this generation, as well as a legendary rapper and poet. I'd like to welcome back to Fade to Black, An0maly. An0maly, how are you, man?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Rapper and poet. What about poet and rapper? Is there a reason why, right? Isn't poet alphabetically first? Wouldn't it be poet?
It might be. And if you're a good rapper, it should be somewhat poetry, unless it's like, I went to the store with Jimmy, to the door.
Do you ever go and do poetry readings at those coffee shops? Do you do that stuff?
I have before, but I haven't performed poetry in a while, but I am doing a rap show in, I guess, April. It is almost April, so I have a show coming up.
Where is it?
It's in Orange County. It's with the band Trapped. They did the song Headstrong, if you know that song.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah, we did a song together, and they want me to perform it there. So.
Really?
Yeah. It's called Come Together. It was a anthem for the country for both sides to come together. It turned out really well.
Well, get us all the info. Let's get that up out there. You know, we don't have the social media footprint that you do, young man.
But we've got a few people out there that would like to go down and see the show. That would be cool.
You're good in the hood, though. Yeah. Everybody knows Jimmy.
Yeah, well, I can. What do I wear? I'm 55. What do I wear to a rap show? And
50 chains, as many chains as you can find.
I do. I got a couple of cool chains. I do.
I'm just kidding. I'm wearing dress how you dress. It's cool. I'm not going to be dressed too crazy.
What do you wear? What does because you're a pretty dapper dresser, right? And you know that. You know how to do it. What do you wear on stage at a rap show?
I used to think about it more, but I feel like the better I've been doing, the less chains I've been wearing, and the more casual. Like sometimes I'll just have some dad jeans on. So I probably will just go to the closet, try to find something presentable.
Could I wear like a Dennis Rodman Lakers uniform?
Of course, yeah.
Would that go down? Would that go down?
Beyond acceptable. Beyond acceptable.
Oh man, I got some Rodman Nikes or whatever his shoes were. I got some of those in the closet. And anyway, okay, I am so uncool. Anomaly, it's not even funny. It's been a crazy week for you. Now your spirits are up, and last week they were pretty up. And I want to get into this pretty deeply here because you had every reason to be really pissed, right? And you addressed that. You actually went straight there. You had every right to be angry and to go, and you didn't. You somehow zenned out and found your center and didn't go there and actually saw the bright side of the situation, if there is a bright side. But it was a pretty crazy week, one that, in my opinion, elevated your status, right? And that was not the intention of the mass media, was it?
No. Well, Buddha said, if you're angry at someone else, it's like drinking poison, expecting them to get hurt. So I try to, you got to keep your cool.
And you did. You kept your cool. Like I said, you had every right. Okay, so let's go to the instigator here, which was your tweet on St. Paddy's Day, right?
Yeah.
And that's all it was, and it was a funny tweet. Okay, let's talk about that. What did your tweet say?
It's funny because it was actually from last year, and it went viral last year on Facebook, and no problem. I think Instagram too. It said, shout out to the Irish people whose families were enslaved and came to the country and worked hard in factories, only to be called privileged by, I think I said, depressed feminist and soy drinking hypocrites. So it was kind of a trolly tweet. I was kind of joking, but yeah.
Man. Oh man. So and I read it and I laughed, and what happened to, we're going to get to the blow up that happened after that. But whatever happened to funny, making fun of ourselves, why can't we just crack a joke? I crack on vegans on this show every opportunity that I get because it's easy, right? And I think everybody appreciates it. I get the vegans out there that'll send me, "Hey man, it's not funny, man. It's not funny." It's just slow down for a second. Really, if we, I'll give you an example. I was when I'm on stage at these UFO conferences, I am the person that Anomaly. I'm that same guy, and I'll crack jokes. Early on, I had people coming up to me, "Dude, man, this is a serious subject. You can't be cracking jokes about UFOs, man." And I'm like, slow down, man. Right? Whatever happened to that? Why can't we be funny anymore?
You were a great host at Conscious Life Expo, and the jokes really make it fun for the audience. But I joke I'm not really that edgy. That's probably one of the more edgier jokes I've made. But I always make fun of hipsters, and I joke that I am a hipster myself because people look at me and call me like a hipster, a hippie. But I'm always like, they like garlic aioli sauce and craft beer. But then I'm always like, I like garlic aioli sauce too. It's delicious. Like hipsters make good burgers and good craft beer. But it gets taken out of context sometimes, I guess.
Oh man, you crack me up. You are the hipsterest of the hipster, right?
Yeah, which makes it funny, but I guess not to some people.
I mean, if you were walking down the street, you could get away with, you could walk down the street in Silver Lake. The hipsterest of the hipster.
I love Silver Lake.
Right.
I love coffee. I love everything that hipsters like. Honestly, they just do a good job. They make good food. They get good coffee. Like they're snobs in the best way. Like they want better quality stuff. I love it.
And you're right about the beer. You're right about the beer, you know? And so you go and you post this tweet. It's St. Paddy's Day. And all hell breaks loose, and in a literal sense, too, as well. What happened?
So I guess, I mean, it went super viral. Like it got hundreds of thousands of shares, so it was everywhere. And it started in the Delaware Online newspaper, which is, I guess, syndicate of USA Today. And some writer said, white nationalist tweet. So I guess what happened was another Twitter account posted my post, and then the Delaware mayor retweeted it. And then I guess they wanted to get at this Delaware mayor. So they said he's a white nationalist, and this was a white nationalist tweet. That was all white nationalists doing it. And then he apologized and backed away and said it was a mistake. And he was even like, "Oh, I changed my password to make sure no." I was like, dude, was it really that, or did you just think it was funny? And then they got mad. So they called it a white nationalist like trope, and then it spread to USA Today. It spread to Daily Mail. I believe it was in the AP. It just went everywhere, and they were saying like white nationalist, and it had my big face there.
I saw the AP thing on it, and those two words right there, white nationalist. And I'm thinking of you, and I'm thinking, how far off the mark? Here we're calling you a hipster right now, right? And garlic aioli sauce, and now you are a goose stepping white nationalist, and that's what they wanted clicks, right? That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, clicks, and also I guess just they want to ruin people's lives, maybe if they don't agree with them politically. But first of all, I'm not even a nationalist. I actually have a video that says how to stop the rise of nationalism, and I explained why it was rising because of a lot of media stuff, and people aren't listening to a lot of people who love America. So they're, in turn, loving America more and taking the term nationalist. I never even heard it a couple years ago. So I'm not a nationalist. I actually say multiple times I'm not, to the ill of people on the right were like, "Oh, I thought you were." Like, so I'm not a nationalist. I've said that. And I'm also part Puerto Rican. So I'm part Hispanic. So I'm not exactly the whitest person, but I'm definitely light skinned. So overall, it was a total smear, to the point where I have lawyers contacting me who want to sue, who think I could win in court. I don't know if I want to bring it there, but it's definitely defamation of sorts, where I guess they said because a white nationalist Twitter shared it, but it's like, say, your radio gets listened to a lot of people. If one Twitter account shares it and they're maybe not a great Twitter account, and then they group you and put your face there, right? I'm not sure if that's even legal, or at bare minimum, it just shows the disgusting state of journalism nowadays, where even some of it's not just on the left wing, like a lot of media is left wing, but Daily Mail is a very popular, honestly, nationalist newspaper. They're more nationalist than I am. They're supposed to be right-wing conservative. So they have the nerve to call me a nationalist when their posts are much more nationalist than mine. Now, let's clear something up. What is the definition of nationalist from the dictionary? That's the funniest part, is it actually means to love your country and to put your country first. So that's the official definition. A few of them have skewed it and said to put your country first at the detriment of others, but that's really the worst dictionary definition. In a political pursuit, they've changed that to white supremacist and like white, I want to create a white ethno-state of all white people. Those people exist, but they're very different from nationalists. And I know there's Hispanic nationalists, black nationalists. It's people who love their country. So they've kind of muddied that term, and I think they purposely know that, where they can try to group people in, and yeah, it gets ugly. And that's where the media is wrong here, where they have intentionally changed the definition of nationalist. They have done this with malice, and now grouping you by just saying that and then throwing the word white in front of it. That throws you into a whole nother category that they have created, and it's something that you are not. And then it just got crazier, didn't it? Yeah, I mean, it just kept getting shared. But luckily, what I'm very fortunate of is, one, a lot of people already know me. So all my friends who are like rappers in Delaware, they sent that to me. I got almost no backlash as far as like no one reached out to me like you're a white supremacist or anything. And honestly, it's like I'm 100 times the size of like those writers. So I feel like then I just made a whole video and I explained my piece and how I wasn't a nationalist, how I was part Puerto Rican, and I actually have videos how to curb nationalism if that's what you want to do. And that video got almost like 800,000, 700,000 views. So it's like, and I have lawyers wanting to sue these publications. So yeah, that's why I didn't get too worried about it. I knew this day would come because all I do is talk about how the media lies and I debunk them. So it was only a matter of time for where they came after me.
Now, and let's be very clear here. I want the audience to understand. You've just said Puerto Rican, I don't know how many times on this show. And you, in the video, you point out that not only are you Puerto Rican, which is just brilliant, but tell us about your sister and her family and her husband and her kids.
Yeah, so I'm Italian, Puerto Rican, and Polish, but my stepfather's 100% Mexican, so my mom remarried. I grew up around all Mexicans. I grew up on a farm, and like all my neighbors were 100% Mexican. I have 2 Mexican step-siblings, 100%, and my sister is married to a Caribbean man, very dark, and has 2 mixed babies. She has twins, actually. So my family's very diverse, and it's sad that I even have to bring that up, but it's like it's just so ridiculous that they're they take all the work I've done. I've done so much stuff. Like I said, I have a song with Trapped, which is actually a platinum rock group. I have 250 million views by myself, no manager, and they've never written about me, not once, not right wing, not left wing. And the first time they write about me, they call me a white nationalist. That was the really bothersome part because I'm not even a nationalist or really that white. So it's just like it was just wrong from every angle.
At what point does the media need to start to admit responsibility to some of this?
I mean, now, and they actually got sued by the kid with the Native American situation. Mm-hmm. They got sued for $250 million, CNN and Washington Post. And I'm not a lawyer type person, but they have no shame, no self-accountability. They could lie for 2 years, switch to the next lie. It's almost like psychosis where they're just like on to the next thing. Like someone needs to stop them. It's like a wealthy person who never has accountability for their actions. Like someone needs to hold them accountable. I don't know if it's a president, a congressman, a brave citizen who can get them legally or something. But yeah, they definitely need to be held accountable because it's getting ridiculous.
And do you think that not only do we have the high school kids and the MAGA hats at the I think the Capitol building or the Lincoln Memorial, where will the pocketbook affect things? Where the not only AP and like this Delaware Daily News or whatever, where they're going to step back and actually take a second look at things before, because it used to be that way, where you had a news director and you looked at things and you looked at the responsibility of what you were about to publish. But today it happens so rapid fire with, Twitter being a news source now that reporters in newsrooms are scanning Twitter for something that's trending for the news, and then they go and they jump on that without doing anything responsible or investigatory. They don't do that anymore.
Yeah, well, that's what happened too. It's like they're all copy and pasters. So one woman wrote an article, and then they all just copy and pasted the headline and did no research to see if it was true or not. That's what they're doing. CNN, after the whole Mueller thing, they came out and said, the CEO said, we're not investigative journalists, or we're not investigators, we're just journalists. So they admitted they don't do investigation, which would be fine. But the other thing is just people moving on to other news sources. Like I'm sure your audience trusts you more than them. And I feel like whether you're left-leaning or right-leaning, the best option is to find somebody a little bit more trustworthy. And I think people are doing that. So we have the power to either consume that media or to move on to something better.
And one of your things is that you've always talked about is trying to unite everybody and get people to start communicating now and understanding each other, no matter what your background is. And here you are, a rapper. You are certainly a respected voice of this generation that does cover news, and you do cover what is going on out there that others are afraid to do. But speaking about this now, which is something that I do here, is very, very important. But they don't even want to recognize what you're really about as well. Has there been a response out of Delaware or AP or USA Today with all of this? Have they reached out to you?
Well, I had emailed Delaware Online immediately, and I sent them an article. I was like, listen, I'm not even really white. I'm not a nationalist. Here's proof I'm not a nationalist. Here's a video of me saying how to curb nationalism if that's what you want to do. And they kind of switched up and put a little keynote a little bit, but then it just blew up in all these other publications. So I did contact them, but they weren't really looking towards that. And, I don't think they really cared. I think they were just like, well, this is how we feel. So like, get out of the way. That was kind of the response I got.
And what about the mayor or the mayor's office of Delaware?
I haven't heard from him. I just think it's hilarious because honestly, he probably thought it was funny, and I think he's Irish, so he probably thought it was funny, and Irish people loved it. They were like, "Thank you. My parents had, indentured servitude, or my parents got mistreated horribly in their past, my grandparents." So he probably just thought it was funny, but he honestly backflipped and was like, "Oh, I need to change my password. Someone hacked me." Like, it's like, is it really that hard to say I did it? He acted like somebody hacked his account and retweeted it. Maybe it happened, but I doubt it.
What as we start to move forward here, we're going to be talking about a lot of different subjects tonight. But at the center of everything that we are going to discuss is the mass media and the conspiracy of mass media and how they are manipulating the minds today. And I think that most out there, I would say most, understand that they are being manipulated and what they are reading is basically not true. But nobody wants to stand up and say something about it. I'm talking about the popular, the citizens of this country and of the world. Why do you think that is? They know what's going on. Nobody wants to say anything about it.
It's hard to say. I think a lot of people are waking up. Some people are stuck in the sports team mentality where it's like, if you're right, you want to believe the mainstream on the right. If you're left and you don't like the president, you're going to go for that narrative. So I think people are very stubborn and naive. But I do think slowly people are waking up and choosing independent sources. But that is a problem too, Jimmy, is the fact there's a lot of cowardice and not enough courage. Where it's like courage, it's not that hard if you stand up. I guess it is hard, but to call it like you see it, and maybe people are afraid to lose their jobs, scorned from society, even with the stuff you talk about. If you talk about this stuff to certain people, like paranormal stuff, they'll think you have 20 heads, and maybe they don't ever look at you the same way. So maybe people are scared.
Yeah, I started to say it's probably 5 years ago, maybe a little longer. I started a campaign with everybody in this audience, and I kept it up and kept it up. This is way before 2016, 2017 started to kick in with, the fake stuff on Facebook and Twitter and what was going on. And I was stating then, Anomaly, that the news is not what you are reading. That if you take an article, and it doesn't matter what it's about, you take that article and flip it over 180 degrees and change the meaning of the article, the opposite of what you are reading, and you're closer to the truth. And I stated that clearly, and then all of the fake news stuff and the revelations kicked in. But I started to see this a while ago, and I just don't understand why the mass media does not care. And they know that they are printing and publishing opinions. They're not publishing the news. And there is a difference between facts and opinions, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't know what their problem is, but it has almost become like opposite day, where it's like you almost do the opposite of what they say, whether it's like war, health, and anything, you're almost going to be right. And it's sad where it's so deceptive and dishonest that it's hard to think that it's just an honest mistake. Maybe it's the culture, and maybe it comes from the top levels of it, or maybe it's hard to really say. All I can do is do my best to be different, and hopefully they don't try to keep ruining my life.
One of the things that you did early on, we're going to head towards a break right here, And but one of the things that you did early on was publish old pictures that were presented as new facts, like they were taken yesterday. And when you see something like that staring at you in the face, I know that your audience is so big that they must have responded back to you. I remember this image. I remember seeing this before. You're absolutely right. They are lying to us, right? Is your audience waking up?
I think so. I've gotten a lot of messages from even just the last couple of years where it's been so much turmoil in the media. A lot of people on both sides are kind of starting to realize that there's something going on. So I've seen a lot of progress. There's still a long way to be had, but I do think the illusion is cracking, and they really don't have that much support. Like I said, I didn't get a single message from any of those papers, USA Today, Daily Mail, not one negative message saying, An0maly, you're a white nationalist, shame on you. I got 700,000 views making them look foolish, where like it all turned on them. So I'm like, does anyone even read these papers anymore? Or like, I think that print news is dying, and like clickbait news, BuzzFeed, all them, they're downsizing. Like I think they're losing. So I do think it's good.
Now, when we come back after the break, the last time that you were on with us and you and I had a chance to hang out in person down in Anaheim, Jussie Smollett broke into the news, and it was crazy stuff, and you came on and we discussed it and we questioned everything. Today, it flipped on its head, and we'll cover all of that when we come back after the break. Are you ready to do a little Jussie?
Always, man. It's a blast. It's one of my favorite radio shows. Thanks.
Thank you. Our guest tonight is An0maly. When we come back, Jussie Smollett, what is going on in the city of Chicago? This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. More with An0maly after this short break. Stay with us.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Introducing the new Surfer Music app. Listen, Fade or not, you know I love my music. This is my go-to for all things notes. The Surfer app is a brand new concept in music listening. Surfer is free, providing unlimited access to thousands of live streaming radio stations. Surfer is an exciting, interactive listening experience. Discovery and surprise are built right in. Surfer is your destination to discover and rediscover great live streaming music. It features high-quality audio streams, free access to music from thousands of live streaming radio stations, unlimited listening, unlimited skipping. You get a music visualizer, and you can also select your favorite channels. Get it at the Apple App Store or Google Play. Just search Surfer Music or click on the Surfer banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Go Beckley Tappy.
Folks, this is very important information. What's to be said about CBD? AncientLifeOil.com. Our CBD is made from hemp and has 0.003 THC, which means this wonderful product won't get you high, no matter what amount you take. What does CBD do for the body? My hands are tied. But you can Google CBD benefits and be astounded. When you're finished reading, you'll want to log on to AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com and purchase. Life is good when you feel good. People are tired of pain. People are asking for non-GMO organic products to help them with, you fill in the blank. Legal in 49 states, and again, our CBD is made from hemp. Ancient Life Oil is about helping people one by one by one. If you wonder how good the product is, the CEO takes it every day without miss. AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com. Have a great day.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Hi, Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA Digital Broadcast Station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. Yes. We are of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And I'm Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
And you're listening to Jimmy Church.
The Revolution.
Reclaim your active lifestyle with Angioprim. Angioprim is the original liquid oral chelation supplement. Chelation helps remove toxins, heavy metals, and cholesterol in your veins and arteries that can cause blockages. Scientific research proves the active ingredient in Angioprim has superior oral chelation action that helps promote cardiovascular health. Find out more. Go to angioprim.com. Talk to a trained consultant by calling Angioprim toll-free 877-882-7221.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can become an official Fadernaut by just going to our membership section at jimmychurchradio.com.
Hey, it's Grace. Can we talk about something serious for a minute? Your age. Getting old has its perks. But remember, being a few years younger, you know, your hair was thicker, you didn't have so many wrinkles, that extra weight wasn't haunting you, and you just felt better. Well, we can't turn back the clocks and go back 10 or 15 years, but you can start feeling and looking 10 or 15 years younger with Nature's Youth RSF. It's a doctor-formulated daily supplement that helps your body maintain its peak performance and fight the aging process. Imagine sleeping better, looking better, and feeling better. See how Nature's Youth RSF has helped thousands of people just like you at nature'syouth.com. nature'syouth.com. Imagine how it will feel when your family and friends are asking you what you did to look so good. Your secret will be Nature's Youth RSF. It's time to start looking better and feeling better. Learn more and order your Nature's Youth RSF at nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com.
Hello, this is Serena Wright Taylor from Conscious Life Expo, and you're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church, who holds the Lucky Pony record for the best astrological chart since 1963. True story.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, our guest is Anomaly. Breaking it down. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. You can follow Anomaly at Legendary Energy. And Anomaly is with a 0, by the way. Now, Anomaly. The news broke today with Jussie Smollett. And I want to back up before you have us, you break this down for us. When you were on the show with us last time when we started to talk about Jussie, we had questions. We had big question marks. There were like red flags all over this story. And today they dropped the charges. What is going on? Break this down. What do you think is actually happening here?
First, I want to say, because I did a piece on this months ago, my video still makes sense, and pretty much every media outlet screwed the pooch, for lack of a better term, on that one. So I was pretty excited that I didn't have to rewrite anything I did, but because I kept it open-minded. I mean, he's well connected, and I feel like Chicago seems to be one of those cities where anything goes, like police, mayor. I don't trust Chicago maybe more than any place anywhere. So I had no expectations. I was like, he's either going to get probation or get off. But he's well connected, and it was a political crime, literally. He was staging it as a political racial attack, and it turned out to not be that. But it's tough, man. I don't know. He's saying he's innocent. He said that he actually got attacked by the Nigerian brothers, where he originally said it was like white Trump supporters. So nothing's adding up, but I'm just like, I didn't expect it to.
With we just talked about white nationalists, right? And what the media is doing, not only with Jussie's story out of the gate, was to get everybody just flamed out. And when the story first broke, I was outraged. When it first broke, I mean, I just couldn't believe it. What a victim here. This is a real hate crime. Then things started to unfold. And we clearly have here the two brothers that admitted to it, right? And what's going on with them? Why wasn't there a mention of them today by the police or the prosecutors? You have the mayor and the police chief stepping up going, wait a minute, we didn't even know that the charges were dropped. And now he's claiming innocent. I don't know what clearly the story isn't over, is it?
No, it might go further, but who knows? I feel like wealthy people and well-connected people get away with a lot of crazy stuff. And I hate to be pessimistic on it, but I've seen so much crazy stuff. And there isn't a Democratic politician that Jussie Smollett hasn't taken pictures with. He was a huge activist. You could see him with everyone. I remember last time I was explaining, they passed an anti-lynching bill off the back of what they said he got lynched in the street. And after it turned out fake, they had already passed through a bill. So my original thought was maybe he was part of that ploy to, because politicians on both sides know if there's a big tragedy, it's easier to get stuff done. As soon as a big tragedy happens, they could pass regulations, this and that, because everybody's emotional. So I feel like it was a play like that. But also, like last month or 2 months ago, there was the governor of Virginia, his name's Ralph Northam, his yearbook picture surfaced, and it was a picture of him in KKK outfit next to someone in blackface or vice versa. It was pretty bad as far as pictures like that go. And he didn't step down. So it seems like if you're on that side, you have the media, the celebrities and stuff on your side, and you can almost get away with anything. Like they're becoming very emboldened, and it's not a good look.
Now we have a situation here now where the Jussie supporters are saying that he was tried in the public. Certainly the media bears a lot of responsibility here in the way that they handled it. But this is exactly what is flaming out this country right now, is the question of race, wearing a red MAGA hat now, white nationalist. All of this played into the Jussie Smollett story, and the celebrities that stepped up and then immediately flipped on him. The way that Fox has handled this, it's a very bizarre situation that we find ourselves in.
Yeah, and he also I believe there's some sort of reports of him mailing something to himself, so that can be maybe a different crime. They're definitely going to try to do something else or go federal if they can, but like I said, and this is a big problem in the country, not only are we divided to the point where we're possibly staging hate crimes on each other, but there doesn't seem to be a lot of justice. There's some protesters who think it's the police, and they're all about police brutality. There's some people who know that it's at high levels too, where it just seems like if you're wealthy or connected enough, no matter what you do, you get away with it. I'm just so used to it that it's sad that I'm not even surprised. I'm like, you know what? I would have been more surprised if he actually got charged with a serious offense and went to jail. That would have been more surprising to me than him getting off.
When the two brothers, let's stay on this for a second. When the two brothers were identified and brought in for questioning, they were immediately released after they said that Jussie paid them $3,500 to stage the attack. I can't believe that wasn't a conspiracy right there, charge where all three, I'm talking about Jussie and the two brothers, are all complicit in this crime. Right? They admitted to it, but they released him and then turned around and a grand jury brought 16 charges against Jussie on this. They looked at all of the evidence and it seemed like something was there, but they let the brothers go. Do you think, the question is why? That's what I want to know your opinion on that. And then, answer that first. Why would the brothers be released when they admitted to getting paid for the attack?
I agree. None of it really makes sense at all. There's maybe one possibility that they snitched on him and said he did it, and then that gave them immunity, because a lot of times police and law enforcement will cut deals like that. So that's a possibility. But apparently today he said that the reason he paid them was for personal training and that they attacked him. Like, the story's changed so much. It's so goofy that it's just like, do they really think they could just get away with that and drop it? But the answer is maybe they can. I don't know.
There is something going on between Jussie and these two brothers, right? And that we need to find out exactly what that relationship is and why. I've thought about this as so many different ways this Sunday. That maybe the brothers wanted more money. Maybe $3,500 wasn't enough for the training. Maybe they were jealous of Jussie. Maybe there's something else, that is personal between them and Jussie. Maybe it's something from that angle. But nonetheless, the attack happened. We know who did the attack, and we know that Jussie said that it was racial. And today he is claiming that everything that he said was true. I cannot believe that these charges were dropped. It just doesn't make any sense.
And it's a big problem in our country is self-accountability and also just being held accountable in general. And this goes from the highest level of politics to, celebrity culture. If you have no accountability for anything you do, you just don't stop, and it's like a drug addict. Eventually he loses a limb or something really bad happens, or, like he loses a job or loses a girlfriend. There has to be a consequence or else you just keep going sometimes. And I feel like that's the point a lot of people are at. They're just chronic liars, chronic fake news purveyors, chronic, above the law. And it's like people are really hoping that they can hold someone accountable. I think it would make everyone feel a lot better, but it's been a decade of this stuff, and I'm just wondering who's going to step up or how deep the corruption goes.
And the next thing that we are dealing with, not only in the Jussie Smollett case, but it seems to be a trend now, which is trying people in public, trying people with the mass media and convicting them by swaying public opinion. That is like the latest trend, and as far as I know, the Constitution hasn't changed. But yet, that is what is happening now, and it doesn't matter who you pick. We try them in the court of public opinion, and then wait for the legal stuff to play out later.
For sure. There's definitely consequences in the public, but that also goes where sometimes they try to skew the court case via public. I know with Michael Jackson, I mean, that's another controversial topic, but he got tried, he got raided, they tried to get him, and while he was alive, they found nothing on him. But the public court destroyed Michael Jackson. Where in the legal courts, he did fine. And same with people like Louis C.K. He didn't really do anything illegal. But, publicly they're trying to ruin his life. So I do agree that is some sort of consequence. But one, I would like to see the courts do something. And also sometimes the public gets it wrong on both sides, where it's like they'll attack people who didn't really do that much, or they'll, shift things like this. It's all kind of messy.
Do we do we start to dip our toes into controlling what people say and start controlling the internet and the way that news is portrayed out there? Or are we getting into a dark area of censorship?
They're definitely trying to censor, but I say free speech always, and less censorship, as little censorship as possible, because they use that Russian narrative. That's why they shut up a lot of the Facebook and YouTube. They were like, for inclusion, but then they just end up start attacking American citizens and quote unquote conspiracy theorists and anybody who talks about the moon or vaccines, and it gets into all this stuff. So I say stay out of it. I think it roots from the self. If people don't buy it, they won't sell it. So that's why I try to wake people up mentally and have them make their own decisions freely. Because right now we kind of play into the system, and as long as we put up with it and play into it, it'll continue to go this way.
How do you do the dance? How does Anomaly do the dance to avoid being shut down and turned into an Alex Jones?
Man, I'm trying. I try to be nice. I also try to, not to knock Alex, but he'll just jump to conclusions quite quickly on a lot of topics, and I try to be as fair as possible, and I try to watch my ends, but there is really no stopping it if they want to do that. I've kind of come to that conclusion even before this whole media smear of me. If they want to ruin my life or try to, they're going to do it. So I've just have to be like steel at this point, as strong as I could be, and just walk through fire. And, if they go after me, they go after me. If they don't, they don't. But that's it. All I could do is be myself. And the great thing is, doing that, I feel like I've gained such a huge audience and respect from a lot of people. So if they do that, their attacks don't work. And even if it got to a crazy level, I still have way more support than they'd want. So, I try to lead in that way, where it's like, I guess this is the way it's going to have to be.
Do you think that, CNN and Fox and MSNBC and BBC and RT are going to start to wake up to news analysts like you that have more followers, viewers, and you are able to express yourself correctly to a larger audience than they have? Are they going to wake up to this?
Maybe, maybe not. They should, but if they don't, it's all good, because I'm doing well enough where I don't really care. And some of my stuff leans more libertarian right, and people think, they're like, oh, it's like Fox News, where one, I'm nothing like them, but also they don't even show me love at all. They've never had me on. They actually wrote about me because of my Roseanne interview, and they called me a self-proclaimed hip-hop artist and news analyst. Like, I'm not a real one. I just proclaim to be. So they kind of smeared me a little bit, but that's not that bad. So I don't think they have any idea, but I think they need to crash and burn, not just Fox, but mainstream media, corporate media needs to crash and burn, because it's all fear-based, it's negative-based, it's left, right, attack, sports team. And it does seem like, you always talk about the conspiracy of media. There does seem to be some sort of conspiracy or conspiring, because they only let you go so far. And it seems like if there's any decent people ever on TV, those are the first ones they try to ruin their lives. Like, for example, Tucker Carlson, he talked about UFOs more than I've ever seen, and like certain topics where I don't agree with everything he says, but he seemed like he was going places. Now he's the number one target, where I'm like, you know what? I don't even want to work with these people, so I don't care if they figure it out or not. Maybe they just need to go away.
Yeah, and the trend is going towards, and this is okay. These are the real numbers. When you look at CNN on any given moment of the day, they have about 500,000 viewers or less, right? And so, my peak, but let's just go with, 400,000, 500,000. And Fox, at its peak with like Tucker in the evening, 700,000. They don't realize how small they actually are, in that there are a zillion news sources out there. There are a zillion channels, and more people are spending their time in an a la carte environment where they can go and watch an app or watch on their mobile phone. They're not tuned in to a TV set or watching CNN or Fox live on their phones. What they are watching are people like you. And they need to embrace this, and they need to recognize what the future is, and they are not. And it will be the nail in their coffin.
Yeah, and maybe that's the way it needs to go, because I know a lot of CNN watchers are pretty unhappy. Like, I talked to somebody recently who said he always loved CNN for hard-hitting news, but he said, it's kind of turned into a gossip tabloid rag, and they just talk too much, and I'm not really impressed with their honesty. And also, Fox recently, now on the right, they lost a lot of followers because they persecuted or punished Judge Jeanine. I'm not sure exactly what she said, but she's very popular, and they took her show off on Saturday. So Fox has a lot of conservative and right-wing people very upset with them, and CNN and MSNBC have a lot of left-leaning progressives mad at them. So yeah, I mean, they reap what they sow, and the fact that they're so ridiculous, I mean, they definitely are losing power slowly, and I don't think it's a bad thing at all.
It's a very interesting place that we find ourselves in. The fact that fake news is real, and the way that social media, it's not just the news networks, but it's the way that Facebook and everything else handles things, and Twitter. And now the European Union has passed this Article 13, which is like real censorship, and they're calling it a copyright law. But it affects music, it affects memes, it affects everything across the board. And if you are cross-referencing something or retweeting or reposting, you could get caught with copyright stuff, which the copyright now would not hold the poster liable. It will hold the network liable, like YouTube or CNN. And it is a real censorship situation. And if it goes, it's already passed in Europe, but the internet is global. And now this affects everybody. What do you think about Article 13 and how that would play in with what you do?
The UN and the UK and a lot of these European countries, they're awful with free speech. That's one great thing about America. Although we are getting censored and there is some pressure societally, we actually have way more freedom than a lot of European countries, and they keep going further and further. And that's the thing about free speech is you can't regulate hate speech, because a lot of people probably hate the fact that you talk about things that they don't talk about. So it's a very fine line, and I'm hoping our president, he's not a big UN fan, and to be honest, I'm not either. There's things they do well, obviously. There's things I don't agree with, but they do seem to be reaching for power, and speech is not it. So I don't like it at all. I don't think it'll fly well with social media companies at all, but who knows at this point. I'm definitely hoping that it doesn't make way, and if it does, that we could somehow avoid it here in the U.S.
How do we start to soften up everybody out there? And I'm talking about the audience and the citizens of this planet, in that it seems that today everybody is right and everybody is wrong. There is no middle ground, and nobody wants to listen. All you have to do is say a word, and you start a fire, and you instigate an argument and a fight, and it just gets out of control. How did we get to this point, and what can we do about it?
I'll say what we could do about it, I think, is considering others. I always say on my streams, if you don't do anything, just consider what I'm saying. You don't have to agree with it. You don't have to disagree with it, but just consider. That's the first step, is consideration. And we've lost that. Everybody's so stubborn, and they don't want to consider how anyone else feels. And that's never the way to get through to somebody. When you consider someone else's feelings and also try to talk to them as opposed to talk through them, you get through a lot more. And that's worked with me. How we got here, I would say, maybe I had a good talk with someone the other day where they were saying, the government kind of took hold of the education system. Colleges are slowly becoming indoctrination camps where they don't like critical thinking, and it's a lot of politics. You have, a culture, I sound like a grandpa, but even though I'm younger, but it's like this participation trophy thing where it's great to be nice, but when you tell everybody that they deserve everything, it's not a good look for employers. You got 19, 20-year-old kids going to jobs and thinking that they deserve a raise, and they just got there, and taking people down left and right. So combination of all those things, and internet, echo chambers on both sides where people can't even, they're so used to hearing they're right, and everybody makes them feel right. So when they have a conversation with someone else, they just hate on them. And a combo of all those things, I think, is how we got here. But we get through it by taking a step back, and it's not that hard, really, if you just don't hate people, or if you're not that stubborn. It's like, man, just because you disagree politically, like maybe you could play basketball with that person. Maybe they have a family and you have a family. Like try to find some common grounds.
And then we have things today, and we're going to be headed towards a break, but like this college corruption scandal that broke, which is far from over, pretty insane. We have all of these, gender issues. We have food issues. We have animal rights. We have today, global warming, and now they announced that the glaciers are actually growing and they're not melting. It's like one side of the news says one thing, and then it says another, and now you don't know what to believe. And we are right in the middle of it. And one of the things that we hold sacred is like our college entrance exams and how that is handled. And it turns out that is all one big lie. And it's for the privileged. It's just like everything is coming apart at the seams right now, Anomaly. It's the craziest this world has ever been, isn't it?
It may be, but it could also be the best times. I know in times of chaos, it's easy to succeed if everyone's running in circles, if you run straight. So among the chaos, I think we got delivery food and some stuff where I'm pretty pumped about, I don't have to cook all the time. So I'm okay. I'm like, as long as the power grid doesn't go down. On that note, real quick, before we go to break, I wanted to say an executive order passed in the president today, just like a couple hours ago, executive order on coordinating national resilience to electromagnetic pulses. The White House literally passed some sort of executive order on electromagnetic pulses. I think your audience would like that.
Now, I didn't see this.
Just happened.
Is it to protect us against EMPs?
It is, and to have a plan for that. But, I'm always skeptical where it's like, I'm glad we have a plan. We need one. But anytime the government's involved, you're like, is this, are you setting us up for you to do something, or are you really helping us? It's hard to tell.
Well, one thing that scares the crap out of me is our infrastructure here in the United States. Not only the infrastructure and our electrical grid, but it's cars and it's satellites and it's cell phones and our communication and the internet, and everything is completely exposed. And if an EMP went off in this country, either accidentally or deliberately, somebody wants to come over here and fire off some kind of dirty nuclear weapon, we get shut down. Our stuff is wide open, right? And I'm talking about every car in this country. Could you imagine just going out or driving on the freeway and then all the cars stop? Right? Just stop.
Yeah,
just
right.
stop. And that is something that has never been addressed. Now, I didn't know that that Trump signed this. That is a step in the right direction. Yeah, that's crazy. I need to go and check that out.
It's good to have, yeah.
Well, yes. Otherwise, you and
but
I
I'm still nervous.
Well, you and I know we have to be. We have to say, but that's why you and I are able to talk right now about these subjects, is because we haven't had an EMP, right? And and that also includes the sun too, as well. It's not like it could happen naturally. But if it ever goes down, we would stop. We would be in the Stone Age, and it would take a long time to recover, if ever.
Absolutely. Yeah, sorry, I had to throw that in there. I just read that. I was like, whoa, that's pretty next level. That's pretty Jimmy Church. Let's get it on.
Our guest tonight is Anomaly. Now, when we come back after this break, Anomaly just recently interviewed Roseanne Barr. I want to know all about that. Take a break right here. We'll come back and find out what him and Roseanne talked about right after this short break. This is Fade to Black. Stay with us.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires. This year we've experienced more than our fair share. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and last month I decided to make sure my family does not have to worry about food should we get caught in a real emergency situation. Introducing An0maly, a healthy, storable product that tastes so good that you'll want to eat it every day instead of just during those times of duress. All An0maly products have a 25-year shelf life, are MSG and GMO-free, no preservatives, and are made in America. With the An0maly pack in your home, you'll be able to sleep at night knowing that you've protected your family. Not only have I tasted and tested, I own it. Now you can too. Just click on the An0maly banner on JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code Jimmy when you order. In addition to a discount, we'll send you an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. Seriously. Go Beckley Teppy. Do you want to be an official Fadernaut? Of course you do. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black. Just go to our membership section at JimmyChurchRadio.com. Introducing the new Surfer Music app. Listen, Fadernauts, you know I love my music. This is my go-to for all things notes.
The Surfer app is a brand new concept in music listening. Surfer is free, providing unlimited access to thousands of live streaming radio stations. Surfer is an exciting, interactive listening experience. Discovery and surprise are built right in. Surfer is your destination to discover and rediscover great live streaming music. It features high-quality audio streams, free access to music from thousands of live streaming radio stations, unlimited listening, unlimited skipping. You get a music visualizer, and you can also select your favorite channels. Get it at the Apple App Store or Google Play. Just search Surfer Music or click on the Surfer banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Go Beckley Tappy.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA. KGRARadio.com.
If you have hard water, the lime scale not only leaves white spots, it clogs pipes and breaks down appliances, costing you hundreds of dollars in energy and wear. Eliminate lime scale and other water issues like brown staining and bad odors with HydroCare water products available from Wave Home Solutions. Wave's affordable water systems don't use salts or chemicals. You'll love the way your water tastes, smells, and looks. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
Are you intrigued by paranormal talk radio? You'll love the new paranormal radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the paranormal radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the paranormal radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. Our guest tonight, An0maly. What a week he has had, and you should go and check out An0maly's videos and head over to Facebook. It's right there. And also, An0maly, we have legendary.vision, that website. We have music and poetry. And, of course, Facebook, An0maly Music. Where else can everybody go and check you out?
I'm on Instagram at DreamRare, DreamRare, and I am on Twitter, keeping the Fade to Black hashtag F2B Party alive in the commercials.
I'm looking at you right there. The social networks that are out there, is it today? Is it where people go for their news now? You know what I mean? Is that where people look for breaking news, whether it's Twitter or Instagram or Facebook, and not necessarily the traditional news networks?
Absolutely. I think there's probably more people on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter than the news networks by a long shot. And also all the journalists who write the mainstream news, I mean, they wrote about my a tweet on Twitter, and then that gets covered on TV. So it's like, even the journalists and the mainstream media, all they talk about is Trump's tweets or someone else's tweets. It's like it's a pretty weird time.
And speaking of social media, Roseanne Barr, victim of that, certainly, and lost her TV show. And you recently interviewed her. What was that like?
Oh, it's epic. She's a good friend now, and she's a really, really deep person. Like, the media framed her as racist and awful, and the truth is Roseanne is not only hilarious and outspoken, but she's very intellectual, and she's 3 levels deeper than anyone else. Like, your audience would love her, but to the normies on the mainstream media, they just ate her alive. So we talked about Jussie a little bit. She talked about bankers and the board. Like, she knows so much and she goes so deep. It was epic.
How did you? First off, it's a great get. It's a network term. It's a great get. How did you contact Roseanne? How did you pull that off?
Well, I logged into Twitter a year ago or 2 years ago now, and I saw her retweeting my Twitter posts and my videos, and she was like, "These are great videos." So she was a fan of the videos. So I was like, Roseanne, she was in Hawaii. I was in Hawaii on vacation, and I was like, let's meet up, and we got busy. But then I recontacted her in LA, and she invited me to the filming of Roseanne. So while she was filming the new season before it got canceled, I went in her, room or whatever, the little trailer room, and she just went off for an hour. She was telling me all sorts of deep diving stuff, like, just shooting it like we were friends already. And then, after she wanted to work together on the production side, she wanted to, host some stuff I was doing. And then the show collapsed a day later. And we ended up just I got one of the first interviews of her after the show collapsed. And then when she was back in LA, I think I'm one of her go-tos now, where she's just like, come by the studio and let's chat. So we have a good. And she's like, you need a makeover. And she was trying to buy me clothes as well. I was like, what kind of makeover is this? I think she wanted to do a makeover episode, but I'm glad we just did the speaking one.
Okay. What do you mean you got busy with her in Hawaii?
No, that's not what I.
That's what you said.
No, I said I messaged her. No. She has a boyfriend, I think. But also, it's a totally different relationship. People write that in the comments though, because they're like, Roseanne looks great, which is true. I mean, she looks almost better now than she ever has.
No, she didn't even look in your interview with her, the recent one. She didn't even look like herself. She looked great. Yeah. So where did you did it at her studio? Can you? What city is her studio in?
I don't want to. People could probably find it, but it's in the Los Angeles area.
It's in Los Angeles. That's what I'm saying. So it's here in Los Angeles, and a nice place. What does she do there? I
mean, I think she's had it for a while, and she's been busy. But now she's doing her show, and before she's hosted people, and I think they've worked with people exclusively. But I think it's pretty open, and her son and stuff films it, so I think they keep it in the family mostly, but. I think she's at the point now where there's things she wants to do, but I'm sure she's in no rush. She's got a lot on her plate, and she's done well enough to really get to choose her next move. So I think she was talking about doing a show with a rabbi. I'm not quite sure what she's doing next, but yeah, I don't think they're too big on the work.
Now, you mentioned her comments about banking. I want to go right there for a second because, first off, she's rich. Right?
Yeah.
So she understands the movement of money and investing and the banking system and what that's like at a level that you and I will probably never experience in our lifetimes. I hope that you do, Anomaly, but you certainly know what I'm talking about. And you and I have already talked about this privately. But when you sit down with somebody like Roseanne and start talking about banking, it comes from a place that she understands. What did you guys talk about? What is it that she knows about banking?
Yeah, well, I don't think it's because she did well in film and stuff. Because there's a lot of people who do well and won't talk about this at all. Almost no one will talk about it. She talks about media mind control nonstop. She's the only one. And I think when she speaks about banking, it comes more from like a deep diver than someone who did well. But I mean, I don't want to take her words out of context, but she was basically, explaining how the banks kind of control a lot. And she thinks that a lot of the taxation on the American people is, I think she said some sort of financial enslavement. So she's not shy to, call out the Federal Reserve. And she said that Trump was doing a great job with the feds, which is true. I think, you could debate whether he's doing a great job. And I know even a lot of people pressure me like Trump's not doing enough here or there. He's definitely not doing everything under the sun. That's obvious. However, he has stood up to the feds more than anyone else has. I mean, you can debate not enough or this or that, but I've never seen someone tell the feds, like, you guys stop raising the rates. You guys are rigging the economy. He's not shy. That's for sure. And she kind of gave him props on that.
Did she talk about why she got canceled? The real reasons?
Yeah, she's spoken about that a bunch, and we've spoken. I think she mentioned it on air, but basically they were gunning for her the whole time because her show was a real centered show that wasn't leaning super anti-Trump, and she made fun of Trump supporters, but she also made fun of liberals and the Green Party. Like, it was a real family show where everyone could relate because maybe your dad likes Trump and maybe your mom likes Hillary. Everyone's got someone that they know that likes one or the other. So that's what the show is about. It was the number one show, Jimmy, since the Big Bang. It was caking in the money. And she's on Jimmy Kimmel. He's saying, I thought you were left wing. And she said, I am. And he's like, what changed? She's like, I didn't change. You guys went so far off, you lost everyone. And he was like, yeah, you're right. So she was crushing on every level. And she's got Twitter fingers for sure. You know, she goes on these like mental, she has like, what's it called? Like bursts, like a mental burst. And she'll be like, bang, 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 bang. And, she was saying a lot of stuff even while the show was number one. She was talking about conspiracy theories and they hated it. So I think that was definitely the tweet that broke the camel's back. But they were looking for a reason to fire her. And of course, there's people who say she shouldn't have said that. However, with Jussie Smollett, it's like they gave him the benefit of the doubt up until it all happened and they still rocked with him. Her, she said they didn't even call her to ask, what did you mean by that? Like, maybe I'm misreading it. Maybe you can apologize for it. She legit, I do believe, I don't even think she knew the lady was black. So, it was like a multi-layered tweet. Like, Roseanne's on a different dimension. She's talking about 3 different things at once, and they just fired her immediately without even asking for an apology or what it meant. So, I mean, I think it was definitely because of her. I mean, the number one show talking about MK Ultra mind control, that's not going to sit too well.
Well, that's one of the things that I think everybody realized very quickly, certainly over the last 2 years, and it kind of started with Roseanne, that it doesn't matter how big you are or who you are for these networks. They will pull the trigger. And the list is long. You can go look at Bill O'Reilly, canned, right? Mm-hmm. Kevin Spacey, out, mm-hmm. right? Roseanne, out. And the list is so long where it doesn't matter who you are, right? What's her name? I just forgot her name, how quickly they disappear, who left Fox for NBC. Right?
Oh, yeah, Megyn Kelly.
Megyn Kelly, right? Yeah. And we've already forgotten her name. Well, you didn't. It's something that people don't realize, that here in Hollywood, where everything is so left-leaning and how they want to take things to the extreme and support that narrative, that they will pull the trigger. They will pull the trigger very, very quickly if you're not playing by their rules.
Absolutely. And another one who got it bad, and he's been silent for a while, is Kanye West, because he wore the MAGA hat, and he explained he doesn't even, there's certain policies maybe he likes, but he was like, to me, this is a Superman cape. I'm wearing it because you're telling me not to, and it makes me feel strong that I can do it and put up with your bullying. It was like a mental test. He's talking about the simulation. He's not even conservative or right wing. It was just like you can't tell me what to do. And he was actually making a lot of philosophical sense. But they ruined him and just destroyed him and took his genius, 40-minute rant. There was so much wisdom in there about race, about teachers, about schooling, about prison reform. And they took one context out of thing and tried to frame him so that the quote unquote black community hated him. It's just awful what they do. And it is true. It seems like people are just kind of puppets where it's like, hey guys, if you don't fit the script, we'll find someone who will. And you got to walk on eggshells. If you want to tell the truth like Roseanne or Kanye, you have to cover every angle and 20 times over because they're looking, even me now, it's like, I understand now I'm not on TV, but they don't want anybody to question the narrative and break the simulation.
When it comes to Kanye, let's stay right there for a second. He sits down in the Oval Office. They have that live press conference or whatever you want to call it, live from the Oval Office. Wasn't it like 2 weeks later he said, I'm out? Right? It was like 2 weeks later. I'm done.
Well, yeah, I think what happened was he had a relationship with Candace Owens, who kind of got him on that path of like political stuff. And he actually said about her, like, I'm done with this stuff. And then the media misconstrued it and said he was done with Trump and he never wants to do that again. But I think he was like, I'm done with politics. I'm done with that. And they spun it to make it seem like it. And maybe he wanted to get out of the media spotlight. But what I will say with him and Kim Kardashian is they actually somehow did it. They got prison reform passed and Trump passed it. It seemed bipartisan. And they rolled the ball on prison reform, which is, I was saying from the beginning, even when Trump is in office, I'm like, this guy seems a little looser. So if you get on his good side, that might be the best way rather than just hate on him all the time, because he might actually listen. And I feel like that's what he did with Kanye. He was so pumped to have two celebrities, supporting him. They came to him about Alice Marie Johnson, the old woman locked up. He looked at it, asked the warden, and said, all right, she's free. So it's, they played that game really well. And I think Kanye and Kim, it's not a bad thing to communicate. You don't have to vote for him or like him, but he is in office. So, I'm thinking about it. I've seen a lot of puppets in office and there's even elements of Trump that people say he's controlled this and that. He seems loose enough where I'm willing to give him a shot and like Kanye, sit down with him. Who cares? 20 minutes, talk to him. I would talk to Obama or Bush too. Why not? Have a conversation. And then if nothing happens, you could always leave.
And the other big story before we get to the big story, we'll do that at the top of the hour, is ISIS. And ISIS is another situation where it's so polarizing, and how they were created, where they came from, and what they ended up doing, but also clickbait and part of what the media's narrative has been about for the last 5-6 years. Mm-hmm. Now, apparently, the media wants to say, and including Washington, that they have been defeated. What's your take on what's going on?
Yeah, I think it's true. For a while, that was the biggest fear tactic. ISIS. It's on every Fox to CNN. Everyone's worried about it. And then I think, honestly, Trump, although I understand people think he might not have done enough, one of my favorite things he did is he overturned $1 billion CIA program that was funding rebels. And it was like a 3-way proxy war. We're always in these weird wars where we're funding both sides. We're fighting 5 people at once. It's awful. But, I get it. It's multi-layered. And he did that. And he said, I'm going to defeat ISIS. And everyone laughed. And legitimately, it seemed like it happened. It seemed like what he did worked. And now there's so many other battles going on in the Middle East. It's definitely a mess. And it's in no means solved completely. But I do think ISIS is gone. And what the media did, what I noticed was they started rebranding ISIS as IS because it sounds a little bit more nice, like IS. And they're actually lobbying for women to come home to the United States and the UK from IS and the Islamic. It's like as soon as they can't fearmonger with it, they change the brand and switch the narrative. Same with North Korea, where those are the two scariest things I remember from when I was younger, ISIS and North Korea. But now there's always a new story that they could spin it and make everyone angry and mad.
Yeah, somebody just said this tweet just came through. Roseanne is nuts. West was used by the current president. I'm sick of the Kardashians. The only way prison reform happened was because of Trumpenstein was hoping to get him into the sack. Crazy talk tonight. No more Jimmy Church. Trump is a criminal. Bye, Jimmy. And that tweet right there is exactly what I'm talking about. You can't have a discussion these days. You can't talk. We can't. Everybody is so polarized. You know, it's unbelievable, and it's sad that somebody would actually just get so so angry about a conversation. What we are engaged in right now, Anomaly, is interesting, and it should be interesting to everybody.
Yeah, I'm sorry that happened, but I said I'd sit down with any president, and also I get it a lot as well, just on every topic, because if you're not too far one way, like if you don't hate these people, this side is always upset with me, and then if I don't hate the other way, I'm talking about a lot of stuff on the daily basis, and I'm getting caught in these proxy wars of people who want to nudge me to the side. But like I always say, consideration and conversation. You don't have to agree with the view, but I mean, it is a fact he sat there, and it is a fact that the ball rolled. I don't know why it did. You could say it's ineffective. You could say that it's not real prisoner reform. That's fine. I'm not even really debating it. I didn't make a big statement on it, but that's that is America nowadays, and I think it's easing up a little bit, but I guess some people don't want to hear certain things. I get it on a daily basis.
I do too, and I pointed out on Monday's show, I had a dinner party over at the house with Rita and our family, and what you and I are talking about right now, my family brought up. The stuff that we are talking about right now, how people can't communicate anymore, nobody wants to listen, how the media is controlling the narrative with opinions and not reporting the news, and just flaming everybody out constantly. And I came on the show immediately on Monday and started talking about this. And here we are, just having a conversation about things that are part of our reality, whether you agree with it or not. Listen, that's all. Just listen. That's it. That's it. Just listen and maybe learn something, or not, or disagree or agree, but don't get polarized on it. It's where we are today, man. It's where we are.
It's all good. Yeah, I don't have a lot of hate in my heart, almost none. And even like you had a right to be angry. I don't get angry, and I don't hate on people at all. I'm too busy doing stuff. And also, even politicians I don't agree with, I don't hate them that much. And I find that on both sides, there's a lot of hate. And when you hate a lot, it leads to anger. And when you're angry, you don't want to listen to anybody. You just want to rage. So it's definitely an issue, and it's not a one-sided issue. But and that's the problem with the media too. You can dislike the president, you could love the president. It doesn't bother me. But the way that they skew everything, it's always hate-based and fear-based. So they got everyone wound up instead of like conversing, and it's a problem. And then they sell pharmacy pills in the commercials.
Yeah, so right. Exactly. And back to ISIS, staying on the same subject. The reason why I stopped watching the news, and I used to just bounce through news programs all day long, listening to everybody's, reporting of the news, and I wouldn't stay on one channel. But the second I saw one too many ISIS beheading videos, right? And I'm watching, and I felt my body change, right? I'm watching this thing. I'm like, what are they doing? Why is this on television? What is the use of this? Right?
Fear.
I mean, what? Well, there's that, but it changed me physically. I stopped. I was just like, I'm done. I am done. And I physically changed. I got better. I just stopped watching that stuff. And it was ISIS that did it to me. And they need to realize the effects that they are having on people with their mind and their emotions by playing this stuff and getting it on television. You are affecting people, man. You're affecting their emotional state, and it's not cool.
Nah, they know. I cut the cord years ago. I don't watch cable television. But with the ISIS, here's how you know that's propaganda. the United States, regardless of who you support politically, we have the strongest military, or one of the strongest. We have all the weapons in the world. We have GPS data everywhere, like the whole map, Google mapped, and they can't find people beheading people. Like they're just cutting people's heads off with knives. ISIS didn't even have an air force, and they acted like it took them 10 years to stop them. It's all fear mongering for sure. And if you're going to sell something, Jimmy, you try to hype it up. If you want to sell coffee, say it's good coffee, gain the support and trust of your audience. If you want to sell pharmacy pills, like the type people need to be depressed or sad to buy them. So it's hard for me to think that they don't know what they're doing. And with the ISIS videos, yeah, that always tripped me out, regardless of who's president, of like, it's knives. We can't fight knives now. We got tanks and weapons and missiles, and we're worried about 3 guys in a mask with a knife. Never made sense to me.
No, it clearly did not. And when the entire ISIS story started to break, all I'm thinking to myself is, wait a minute. They're stating in this press release that there are 5,000 ISIS fighters in Iraq. Well, that's an afternoon's work, right? What's the big deal here?
Something was not adding up for a while. I mean, a lot of stuff still isn't adding up, and I guess the good part is people are starting to realize that it's not adding up, and that's a step. Even the guy who got mad, not to harp on that, but it's like, if you present that statement, I might actually agree with it. If it's not in such an angry way where it's like, people assume just because I say one thing about Trump or this, that I feel all these ways. I'm like, nah, that's my thought on that, where you might say, well, he's not doing this, and I don't like that. And I'll be like, yeah, for sure. It's like, it's not that serious to me, but yeah, a lot's not adding up. And as long as people on both sides realize that, we can start to piece the puzzle together.
Yeah. And most don't realize when we talk about World War II, 5 years, or talk about World War I, 4 years, 5 years, and talk about these different things that went on, including like the Vietnam War. We have been in the Middle East, which includes, you can throw Libya on that, North Africa, but between Iraq, Syria, and now Afghanistan, since 1991.
Sheesh.
This is 2019. That's crazy talk. I mean, that's absolute crazy talk. And the way that the media has dealt with this, and including Washington, we have gone through how many administrations flip-flopped, right? Republican, Democrat, Republican, Democrat, Republican, Democrat, and nothing changed. Nothing.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating to me. There is no clear definition anymore with what is going on and who is the cause of it.
Yeah, I mean, the quote unquote, I say this quote because I don't want to be, say it directly, but they call it deep state. And a lot of people talk about it, where I don't know what it is, but there definitely seems to be something pulling the strings on both sides. And also the war agenda definitely stayed exactly the same. Something's going on. And I think people are starting to put puzzle pieces together now. And those people get mad at me because they're like, not only it's all these people, it's all this. And I'm like, that's definitely a part of it. But, I don't know that that's the whole story. And that's the great thing about being honest, is like, it's okay to not understand. And it's okay to know a lot. But when you start hating and thinking you know it all, that's when you miss out on the new info.
That's right. You got to listen. Don't yell, right? Just listen. And this is Fade to Black. Let's take a break right here. Our guest tonight, Anomaly. And of course, the conspiracy of politics. That's what we're going to get into next, and how the mass media is dealing with all of this. It is out of control. This is Fade to Black. I'll be right back. More with Anomaly after this short break. Stay with us.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal God, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station. Salt Lake City, Utah. Van Buren, Arkansas.
Poor water quality is a major health issue, and it's only getting worse. Municipalities can't keep up. Standards have dropped, and pollutants are increasing. Where does it all end? It ends by keeping the pollutants outside of your home with HydroCare's advanced systems available at Wave Home Solutions. No less than the best purification materials and processes have been developed by HydroCare to provide you with healthy, clean water for drinking, cooking, and showering. HydroCare far surpasses the competition in removing chlorine, odors, iron, lead, chemicals, limescale, and much more. Don't settle for less when it comes to your water. We'll take care of the toughest water problems for you, whether it's from a city or well source. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, call 888-997-WAVE. That's 888-997-WAVE. Or go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
Your contact for current news and trending topics. KGRAradio.com.
Does your basement or crawl space have a damp, musty smell? Well, watch out. That's a sign of too much moisture and not enough ventilation. And that can mean increased mold growth and the buildup of harmful toxins and gases. Don't bother with a dehumidifier. It just circulates the same unhealthy air. Now there's a better way to remove these dangers and odors. It's with the computerized Wave Moisture Control Unit that reduces moisture and expels pollutants.
We replaced our old dehumidifier with the Wave unit, and in only 3 weeks, our basement is dry and the musty smell is gone.
Wave units require no maintenance, no buckets of water or filters, and costs only pennies a day to run. Breathe better, live healthier with an affordable, no-maintenance Wave unit. Call 888-717-WAVE, 888-717-WAVE, or visit dryhealthyhome.com, dryhealthyhome.com.
Ride the wave. Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I only drink Fade to Black blend coffee from Rivermoon. Just click on the Rivermoon coffee banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Promo code F2B Blend.
So are you tired of being tired? Well, then it's time to get the tea. Hey, it's Lisa here to tell you about this all-natural, all-organic tea I've been drinking that has had great results for over 20 years. It's called Life Change Tea, and it's specially formulated to help detoxify and cleanse your kidneys, liver, colon, and blood all at once. The colon is one of the most ignored organs in the human body. The faster that waste is eliminated from the body, the less time that waste sits in our intestines, spreading toxins to our bloodstream. This tea helps cleanse chemicals caused by outside intruders from our entire digestive system. And get this, weight loss can be a side effect. And with continued use of the tea, you can experience clearer, healthier, younger looking skin, increased energy, and a happier outlook on life. So if you're tired of being tired, get the Life Change Tea at getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. And like me, you'll be glad you did.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Tappy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why Fade to Black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. Our guest tonight, Anomaly. We're talking about the media, how we are controlled by the media. It is the biggest conspiracy that is plaguing this planet. Not only fake news, but, Anomaly found himself the victim of how the media can manipulate, and he went through it last week. That was harsh, by the way, Anomaly. And you handled it very, very well. You had every right to go about as dark as one needed to. And I like the way that you spoke to your audience, and it was like, keep calm, right? Keep calm. It's not something that I can handle, but you
absolutely
you took it on the chin. That was pretty rough to go through. And here we are now. I'm going to go straight here. I'm going to go to the Mueller report, and the reason why I want to discuss this is not so much the report or its contents, because I don't think that matters a whole lot from either side. What matters about this is how opinions change, not only with the media on both sides and how they are looking at this, because depending on where you were coming from, Mueller was the Antichrist, or he was their savior. Right? And that is the way that it was played out with their audiences. And then the report comes out, and it wasn't what one side wanted. It was what and suddenly the media has now flip-flopped on their opinions of Mueller. And it also goes all the way up to the White House. And so clearly the world was able to see how quickly things change and how opinions are presented and how emotions are affected. And that's exactly what we saw play out over the weekend, isn't it?
Absolutely. My favorite clip to demonstrate exactly what you just said is it was Stephen Colbert when James Comey got fired. So James Comey was the director, I believe, of the FBI. And the media, the mainstream media, said he was awful at first, but then, they were like, he's awful. He's the reason that Trump won. He's awful. He's awful. He's awful. And then they fired him. So live on Stephen Colbert, he said, "Oh, we just got this in. James Comey got fired," and everyone started clapping really loud. And then Stephen Colbert, he touched his earpiece and was like, "Wait, no, that's bad. That's bad." And then people started, literally changing from clapping to being upset, and they caught it all on camera. So it was the epitome of that, where it was like, wait, no, don't be happy, be sad now, over the same person.
Right. And that's exactly what the media is doing. And I watched this a little bit over the weekend, and I shouldn't say watch, I read it over the weekend. I don't watch the news. But reading this and knowing how the late night talk show hosts are now going to flip-flop on all of this, they've got the entire nation, if not the world, their heads on a swivel now. It's like everything is spinning and nobody knows what to think. Is it done intentionally? Are they just trying to keep us completely off balance?
I think so, personally, because even political news that I agree with politically, I don't like the way they present it. I don't like what they sell in the commercials. They sell the most awful stuff. And I think you could tell a lot about someone by what they sell. If you sell good products that can make someone's life better, that's great. If you sell gross products and just trying to make a buck, it's like the pills they sell, the food they sell, I could tell they don't really care. So I think it is by design. And also between the reporting, there's a lot of obviously politics behind it, but they have the ability. I think Malcolm X said it. The media controls the minds of the masses. They have the power to make the guilty look innocent and the innocent look guilty. So if 4 out of the 5 or all 5 or 3 out of 5 major corporations, even just one of them owns 30 publications. So if you can get 2 or 3 of them on the same page politically, or 4 or 5, then you essentially can control what people think about certain situations. And I think that's what they do in a lot of topics, where that's what I do full time, is I debunk media narratives. Everyone's so sure of stuff, but if you really look at the evidence and get past the headline, a lot of times it's ridiculously not true, and sometimes completely inverted. And people are like, how is that possible? Well, when you have a few corporations and all the people on television follow the same script, it's how a lie gets around the world before, the truth gets its pants on, or whatever that quote is.
Right. Yeah. Do you think that the younger generations, your generation, you're not so young anymore, right? But I look at you as younger, that those generations are going to grow up smarter knowing how they are being controlled, and you are out there, and others like you are speaking to your generations about this and making them more aware. As opposed to my generation, we don't know what the bleep is going on anymore because we were raised a certain way.
Yeah, part of me thinks there will be part, but also I'm not even too bullish on that, because I think a lot of kids, they have no social skills. They just bury their face in the cell phone. And a lot of the stuff that really matters and the truth, a lot of times it's common sense, or you just ask your parents, or, it's not that, the truth is not always that complicated. What people like, what they enjoy, what everyone wants the same stuff, family, So I think in many ways they see past the mainstream media, but in a lot of ways they're so buried in this culture of like very coddled, very spoiled in many ways, very attached to their cell phones. So it's hard to tell if they're going to really evolve. I hope so, but part of me thinks they might. We got a lot of work to do. Let's put it that way.
I said the other day, and I don't want to sound old, and I don't want to sound like my parents, because I just hated hearing these things when I was growing up. But when we were kids, it was the opposite in a real respect, in that we weren't, like during summer vacation, we couldn't hang out all day inside of the house and watch television with our friends. We were told to go outside and play. Get outside, go, right? And we didn't have the distractions, obviously, of the internet and smartphones and tablets, games. We didn't have that. We were forced to do the opposite. Today, if you were told to go to your room, that was punishment, because you had nothing to do in there but maybe read a book. Right? You didn't. Now, today, if you tell your kids to go to your room, they're like, okay, all right, it's internet time. Right? Yeah. And so that I suggested the other day that we should have in every cell phone embedded in the BIOS, not an app, like embedded, that until you turn 18, you only get 1 hour of cell phone time a day. Right? And then when you turn 18, you earn the right to have full access to the internet. But until then, you've got to learn and get your social skills together. Is that a wrong approach, or should we start to take a real look at this?
No, disconnecting is great, and good parenting is important. Everywhere that they're evolving, I think media-wise, it does seem like they're devolving socially. And a lot of the problems with journalism, if I sat down with a lot of these journalists who probably would smear me, they'd probably like me. We'd probably agree on a lot. But it's a lot easier to type and text and tweet about somebody else and act so mean and mad towards them. It's a lot harder to say it to somebody's face. And I think that's a lot of the problem on both sides. I log into Twitter. It's just a fest of fighting and tweeting. And that's why even with the Smollett thing, I'm like, I'm not even surprised. Like, it's every day is like this, that, they get off, these get off. It's like, when we do have to take a step back eventually and be like, what are we doing? And I think it starts with disconnecting from the phones more often.
Yeah, and social skills and basic education too as well. We don't need to get into that, but social skills are important. They really, really are. Real friends, not internet friends, which is fine. I love technology, but go out there and communicate, walk, breathe some air, go out there and see what the world is. There's something beyond your cell phone. But we start off these days with newborns, giving them a tablet, and that's all that they know. And we need to reverse the trend, man. We have to.
Yeah, the pro is kids are getting really smart at a young age because they have so much information available. But then the con is, no social skills and information overload. And I think that's problems with a lot of people too, where they freak out because we're not meant to take in 500 news stories and headlines a day. Like sometimes we should just go on a hike or go in the ocean or play basketball or, sit down for dinner. Like that's what humans enjoy. And, family or fun. It's not always like, it's really not fun to read 20 headlines. Even if you agree with them all, it's like bang, bang, bang. We have information overload. We're getting very smart, but The problem is, are we getting happier and are we getting wiser?
And the last thing that we need is a new streaming service, right? You just made the point where we have so much out there. There are literally thousands, if not millions, of channels and choices and things. We don't have enough hours in the day to tap into a small percentage of it, but it's everywhere now. And what happened? Apple yesterday announced their new streaming service. Here we go. More information, more channels, more apps, more content, more movies, more every reality television coming to a streaming service near you. Don't we need to go backwards?
Absolutely. I did a Twitter survey a couple weeks ago. I said, how do you feel when you're on Twitter? I said, happy, unhappy, sad. Like, 2 of them were positive, 2 of them were negative. 85% of people felt angry or stressed. 85% when they log into Twitter. What made Facebook and everything good was it was fun, it was revolutionary, and also it was simple. Same with Snapchat when it started. Even say like dating apps and stuff, it's just like swipe this way, swipe that way, one picture. They make it as simple as possible, but once they suck you in, they turn it into this like huge thing. Like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, they all got way more complicated after they sucked you in. So I do feel like it's like watching the mainstream media. You're almost like imprisoned in your own mind where we're all not having fun, but we keep doing it. That's why I always try to add fun. And that will be, I think, the next big platform is something that's just so much more fun as opposed to stressful and annoying and simple. I think that's going to be the next big thing.
If we did a social network that only a social network that if you get caught trolling or picking a fight where you get the boot, right? Well, wouldn't that be censorship?
It's any type of regulations is hard to do because you give an inch, they take a mile, but also you don't want to just have people running rampant. Like now on YouTube, it's more anonymous. So you have people saying way crazier stuff because they don't have to put their face on it. Where on Facebook, my comments are a lot more chill, but it's because everyone has their real name. So it's tough to police, and I feel for social companies there. One app that's doing well with the kids is called TikTok, and I think it's because it's like little short videos like Vine, but I think it's getting big because it's just all fun. Like I logged in and there's no drama, there's no crap. Instagram used to be like that, and honestly now Instagram's kind of annoying. Like it used to be pictures, and now it's all political stuff, and I'm guilty of it too, but that's the way it's gone.
The internet, big boy, right? Who finds it easy to attack and to troll and to start these fights, and then that if you met this person live in the street, that you would just laugh. You're the one talking the smack. And that they wouldn't do it in person. That they wouldn't. That they don't go to their parents' house and talk that smack, right?
Totally. And that's why I get away from text-based stuff now. Of course I tweet, but even I have like other influencers that nonstop message me all the time. Not the cool ones. I have like actual friends and stuff, but they're always like pressuring me to do this. And I'm like, guy, just come on my platform. Like, let's talk like me and Jimmy are doing now. Cause like, it's not fun to debate via direct message. Like we're human beings on this, crazy earth. And I don't want to talk about, I argued with somebody via messages. Like that's the lame. At least come on my debate platform.
Yeah, and the other thing, and you brought this up, is influencers, and the career path these days that so much of this younger generation sees as a job, right? And what's her name, Olivia Jade, right, with this whole college controversy, and that's her gig. Right? She's got a couple of million subscribers on her YouTube channel. That's where her money comes from. She's got these endorsements from these different companies. And when you go and you tell somebody today, go get an education so you can go out there and whatever you find your passion, go out there and do it and get your career going. It'll be great. I don't need to do that. I can be like Olivia Jade. right? And they see that as a career path to be a YouTuber. They don't need to go to school. They don't need to learn social skills. They just want to be able to have a product endorsement and have 1 million subs on YouTube or Instagram.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. One, it's a great way to independently make a career path and get around mainstream media. But also it's unrealistic expectations, especially for women. You have a lot of, plastic surgery and filters and stuff, and people who look better online than in person. So it just sets unrealistic expectations, and also maybe too much stimuli or whatever for guys, because we're not supposed to be looking at hot girls, like 50 girls on our phone. That's not natural. So it's creating a lot of problems. But also with college, it's tough because it's getting more and more indoctrination-y. They're getting away from critical thinking, and also it's getting more expensive. So, it's like, of course you want to have a college education, but to be that much in debt is tough.
Yeah, and if you're going to call yourself an influencer and you're going to go and speak to your millions of subscribers and say, yeah, you know what? I'm here at college, but I don't really care about education. I'm here for game night and partying. You know what? Young women, young girls are listening to this and taking it serious as advice.
Absolutely. And a lot of social influencers, they have a huge influence, but they're not doing much in the hip hop community. I grew up on legendary people who were, saying some stuff, but nowadays they're talking about pills and murder, and the women, they're not saying anything. So I would like to see that as opposed to like these kind of orchestrated social media groups where they're like, we're helping these people. It's like, what we need is, that's great grassroots stuff for sure, but we need people to step up. If you have 100 million followers, you could change the world. You could tell everyone to plant a tree and, probably like
Bingo.
Change the air. Like
Bingo.
You could do something.
Bingo. Is there a subject, Anomaly, that you don't touch? Are you afraid of?
No, I'm not really afraid of any topic, but I guess there's certain things that I will say there's certain things that I don't touch because I understand either you got to go all in or out, because there's certain topics that are very dicey. They could get you kicked off social media. And unless you're going to do something about it and have a lot of proof or, really make an impact, it's really just kind of self-sabotage. So there's certain things that, if I ever did talk about, I'm not afraid to. It just doesn't seem like a smart and effective move.
What would get you kicked off of social media?
That's tough because I talk about almost everything I want to. I guess there's just a way I go about it, because I talk about some pretty dicey topics that really bother people on both sides and that traditionally get people banned. But I don't get banned because of the way I talk about it. Even I won't say things, but if you watch my interview with Roseanne, she says some stuff in there that would get a lot of people banned. But one, she's already banned, and two, she said it. But there's some topics in there, I'll put it that way, that she mentions that are very, very real, that no one wants to say. But I guess I stay away from it because if I'm going to go at anything, I'm going to do like a whole presentation rather than just say it. And just like proclaim it, because I feel like that's effective. But yeah, I don't know exactly what, but watch that interview. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah, it's a great interview. And one last question here before we have to say goodnight. A great conversation as always, but political correctness, and it's something that today, look at what happened to Kevin Hart. Is a perfect example of that. Political correctness and PC has pushed us into a point where now we have to censor our conversation, that we are constantly, having to be aware of PC for any subject. Is PC too much?
Oh, it's beyond too much. Yeah, it's gone way too far. You can't be a comedian. You can't make a joke. You can't have an opinion. And the problem I have with it is when you can't say anything, if they say everything's racist, it doesn't stop racism. It actually emboldens it. Same with sexism, Islamophobia, anti-Semitism. You got to be really sure if you call it one of those things, because it's very real. So if you just call everything that, it just makes people more mad. And I feel like being a cool person and a great person makes people less mad. Like, I don't think Chappelle's show made people more racist. I think it let everybody laugh at themselves, white people, black people, whatever. And it was just hilarious. And it played stereotypes, and some of them were true, some of them weren't. But when they're not true, that's what makes it funny, that it's so ridiculous. They're ruining comedy. They're ruining education. They're ruining, like, the truth isn't always pretty. And honestly, the blunt truth is better than the pretty lie sometimes. And we are more concerned with words and what somebody said than we are with wars, the food industry, the medicine industry, education, environmentalism, whatever you want to say, whatever your thing is. Like, words don't matter, actions matter. So the political correctness and identity politics is one of the worst things going on in society now, because it stops us from solving almost everything.
Yeah, and for somebody, you know, if I go, hey, excuse me, where's the men's room, right? And somebody needs to come back at me. It's not men's room. It's the they room, you know, and get it together, man. You just offended me. You know, it's just like, wait, slow down here, man.
It's awful. And now they have male-born people competing against women and just beating the poop out of them in UFC and volleyball, where it's like, guys, you know, and you can't say certain things or they'll ban you on Twitter. It's not helping the LGBT community. It's actually hurting them. It's making people more unhappy with them. And it's setting them these expectations that are not only unrealistic, but it's making them bad people. Like, you make your kid good by not giving them everything in the world and lying to them. So it's all around bad. And it's only going to reverse. And then the news has the audacity to be like, I wonder why this is rising. I'm like, you're the sole reason that's rising.
That's exactly it. And you just said them. It's making them bad people. It's funny. You didn't even catch that.
I'm covering my bases, Jimmy. No.
You did it right there. You stayed in the clear. Anomaly, what's next for you? What are you working on?
I can't announce my next big move yet, but it could be very big. I gotta secure it. As the kids say, secure the bag. No, but that's like they're like slang for getting money. Secure the bag. But no, I'm just making videos, having a good time. Hopefully, I'm planning on disconnecting from my phone for 12 days and taking like a literal 12-day no cell phone, no computer. I'm really excited about that over work, but I'm just working, having fun, and hopefully having a positive impact on the world.
Yeah, I think my next move, I might dump the iPhone. I think I'm going to go old school, man. I'm going to get me a flip phone.
Nice. Yeah. It's going to be great, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think I'm going to get a flip phone. I forgot what all of that is like. Anomaly, thank you so much. And you post your videos every day.
Yeah, too much. Someone said today, they said, my mom said you talk too much, but I don't think so. I was like, I agree with your mom.
There you go. All right. Thank you so much, Anomaly. Be safe. Okay.
Yep. Big blessings to the Fade to Black crew.
I'll talk to you, man. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Anomaly, and go and follow him right now on Facebook. It's An0maly music. You just search Anomaly on Facebook and go like his page. And he broadcasts every single day, so there's always fresh stuff every day from Anomaly. And I am going to take my break right here at the bottom of the hour. Fascinating conversation tonight, and when I come back after the break, I will be taking your phone calls. Thank you so much, Anomaly. Be safe and be well, man. Thank you so much. Oh, he's already gone. Okay, all right. I wanted him to say one last good night. Anomaly. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Your phone calls are next. Stay with me.
Here, and you are listening to my boy Jimmy Church on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter, but listening
to Jimmy Church will. Hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires. This year we've experienced more than our fair share. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and last month I decided to make sure my family does not have to worry about food should we get caught in a real emergency situation. Introducing An0maly, a healthy, storable product that tastes so good that you'll want to eat it every day instead of just during those times of duress. All An0maly products have a 25-year shelf life, are MSG and GMO-free, no preservatives, and are made in America. With the An0maly pack in your home, you'll be able to sleep at night knowing that you've protected your family. Not only have I tasted and tested, I own it. Now you can too. Just click on the An0maly banner on JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code Jimmy when you order. In addition to a discount, we'll send you an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. Seriously, go Beckley Tappy. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I take Life Change Tea supplements every single day. It's what I do. Click on their banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Tappy.
Hi, folks. CBD is the home run hitter for health right now. Why, you ask? Because of what it does for the body. Unfortunately, I can't tell you all about the benefit. You know, there's reasons. Do your due diligence and log on to AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com. Ancient Life Oil uses organic ingredients and is blended in coconut oil for some of the best benefits. Legal in 50 states and non-psychoactive. Log on to AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and my family is safe because of An0maly Emergency Food Storage. Just go to the An0maly banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com. Promo code Jimmy10.
Are you intrigued by paranormal talk radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Now, that was a conversation right there. Thank you, Anomaly. You just need to sit down and talk. That's what I enjoy doing, just sitting down and talking. And I'm being very, very serious. The dinner party that we had on Sunday night, it got heated. And it got heated for the very reasons of everything that we talked about tonight. It's that nobody can sit down and just talk anymore. Nobody can just do that. Just sit and listen. And just enjoy yourself. That's all. That's all. And you know what? If you get mad, you get angry, then something happened. That's good. If you got happy, then something happened. If you agree with everything, this isn't the show for you. You know, it's not. It's truly not. Just imagine for a second if you just went and listened to
some radio program and just sat there and went, yep, I agree. That's the most boring thing. How are you being challenged? How are you learning things? Right? That's what you want to do. You just want to just absorb and check it out. And that's it. And look, I don't agree with everything that Anomaly and I just talked about. I don't, but I will sit down and have a conversation about it. And he's not agreeing with me. That's a brilliant show right there. I feel amazing after a show like that. With that, the phone lines are open. 747-228-2051. 747-228-2051. Let's go to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling? You're live. You are live. 3, 2, 1. Sorry to do that. You got to be ready to go. All right, let's go to the next caller. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Oh, hi, Jimmy. It's Deb from Sacramento.
Hi, Deb.
Hi.
How are you?
Happy Tuesday. Happy Taco Tuesday.
Yes, it is. Rita just texted me and said it's Taco Tuesday. So I have that to look forward to in 25 minutes.
All right. Very good. Hey, I was thinking about what you were talking about with Justin Bieber at the beginning of the show.
Mm-hmm.
And, these celebrities, they are in their own world as far as from the outside we're looking in, I think, thinking, oh, they've got fame, they've got wealth, Why would they turn to drugs, or why would they become paranoid, or, you wonder why, if they have everything, would they flush their careers away? And I think about Britney Spears and all the things that have happened to her over the years, and so many of them. I think there's a very, very dark element that happens to actors, especially young actors and musicians, that we, the public, know nothing about. There are a lot of dark forces involved in that whole industry that take a hold of them. And I don't mean demons. I mean people that control them.
Or don't control them. Think about that also with somebody like Justin Bieber, who's sitting on $100-200 million in the bank, right? And he's got nobody around him, nothing but yes men and yes women and yes them, right? Yes theys, right? Just be gender neutral here. And nobody telling him no. Nobody wants to offend him. So he's out there doing whatever without any controls around him. And that's the other part of it too as well. It's like it is certainly a world, Deb, that you and I don't, relate to. Seriously don't relate to. And if you're around, I can't say what I really want to say about Justin. I can't do that, but I do know that he does what he wants, and he's a victim of that. He's purely how many times did he go out and race cars or damage his neighbors' houses or just party? Because nobody was there to babysit. And he just did his own thing, self-destructive, but nobody to babysit, guaranteed.
Yeah, well, and you've been in the music industry so you've had a much deeper look at I'm sure you have a better idea, more insights than I do about what celebrities do or what musicians do and where they go.
I did it myself. Nobody was around to babysit me, Yeah. So yeah, it's a sad situation. Hopefully, he's gotten to the point where there's a fork in the road in front of him, and he can go one way or go the other, and he's chosen to go another way, and hopefully it'll be a good example for his fans out there on what to do and what not to do. We'll see, But I thought it was a pretty interesting press release. He did it via Twitter, but it was pretty direct, and it was pretty fascinating to read today.
Yeah.
All right.
That was all I wanted to talk about, just Justin. And, I think the whole Illuminati thing is real, and I do think they get a hold of a lot of these celebrities and musicians. I mean, Michael Jackson used to always say that Tommy Mottola, who was, I guess, head of Sony, was the devil himself. I mean, we don't know what they've seen and everything. It's just a lot of dark stuff there. I'd rather be poor than famous, that's for sure.
Yeah, there is no head of a record company that is a saint. That's for sure. Thank you so much, Deb. Have a great night.
Thank you. You too. Enjoy your tacos.
Yeah, thank you. And we will.
Yes. Okay.
Bye. The head of a record company being a saint. No, that person does not exist. Trust me on that. I'm going to line up these calls here really quick, and I'm just going to do this in real time so I can get everybody going here. All right, so if you're there and you go on hold, don't go anywhere. And that's it. Let me look at the clock. Okay, I got enough to get maybe 4 calls in. So let's do it that way. I'm putting everybody on hold. You stay right there. Let's go over here and say, hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, this is Jimmy.
Yes.
Oh, this is Jeremy. Jimmy.
Hey, Jeremy. How are you?
Mixed up there. I'm all right, man.
What's cracking?
Yeah, I agree, though. You're talking. That's the first time I've heard of Anomaly.
He's amazing, man. He's an amazing young man. Go watch his videos.
How old is he? How old is he?
I'm gonna say he's
not very old.
I'm gonna say he's between 25 and 29.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right in there. I could be way off base. He could be younger. He could be older. But I'm gonna. That's my guess. I've never asked. I've never asked.
Oh, okay. It's not important. But anyway, I just thought, for as young as he was, he seems pretty wise.
Yes, he's very wise. He's cool. He's tall too. He says he's got a jump shot. He's taller than me. He's probably 3 or 4 inches taller than me, and I'm 6 foot.
You want to talk about ball?
Yeah, basketball.
I didn't know we could talk about ball on this show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, of course, man.
Yeah. You may have a few inches on me, but I promise you ain't got me on quickness. So.
I like that.
And I know you're right in my age range, too. You're 40, 45 or so, something like that.
Oh, man. Jeremy, you just went up on the
totem pole. How old are you, bro?
I'm 55.
I'm sorry.
I'm 55.
Oh, you're 55?
See?
You're 55?
See?
It's all like clean living. It's all like clean living.
Well, it's all in the mind, man. It's all in the mind. It really, really is. I can't even believe I'm saying I'm 55 because I feel the same. Physically, I might be a little bit different than when I was 25, but I'm the same person.
I was having this conversation with my girlfriend earlier about, a man in his physical prowess, I think it's probably more if you're physically strong, maybe your quickness, you're going to be in your 20s and 30s. But, yeah, I mean, we're in our prime, man.
No, that's totally true. I mean, and how many guys 55 pull a Jackson heavy metal guitar off the wall like this and hold it up to the camera and play some Black Sabbath licks, right? Right?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Not many. I mean, I can't.
There you go. Jeremy, you have a good night,
anyway.
my man.
All right, brother.
Okay, have a good night. Thank you so much. And, I'm serious. My mind is the same as it was when I was, 25 years old. I listened to some crazy music, all music. And I have the same attitude as I did when I was younger. It's just nothing has changed in my head. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Jimmy, how are you?
I'm doing good. Who's this?
This is Randy, a.k.a. Ramblin'.
Hey, Randy. How are you, man?
Jimmy, I have just been overly impressed with the lineup for the last 8 or 10 shows. Last night was just shocking. I mean, that was just absolutely shocking. And listening to Anomaly today and hearkening back to the Q show that you had and being kind of intuitive myself in the directional change that you and Rita had, I applaud you for that. You are one of my ISPs, that's intelligence service providers. And this plight that we are currently facing here in society is not one that's, I will say this very boldly, difficult to overcome. There isn't anything more powerful in any universe that any human being has ever created that can outdo the upright Homo sapiens sapien when they put their mind to it to solve a problem. But the problem that we do have, yes, it is in the means by which information is being sent to us that has been hybridly created ever since Edward Bernays got women to smoke cigarettes on Broadway. And even going back, that is leading back to the Battle of Waterloo. And I commend you and others that try to get this message out. The problem that we have, or the challenge that we face, is that we have a cultural issue here, but we have a timeline that's even shorter than our attention span, which is tomorrow's show is going to be the most important one. Everyone's going to forget this one. And that's the shape that we're currently in. But there is a way that you can expedite this timeline to bring knowledge, which is going to be the power, and it doesn't require anything except someone simply listening. Now, if someone truly wants change, and they will simply listen to an individual delivering a message, that's all that is required to start an ember glowing. Do you still have me, Jimmy?
Yep.
Okay. That's all that's required to start an ember glowing that could be the fire that we need to join this blaze. It is not that difficult. Amschmel Rothschild said to his 5 sons, go out and find me something that we can give to the minions that will help our agenda without them knowing it. We can win any battle, especially when we take it away. What we're seeing out there today is the destruction of what's called in corporate world binary creep or corporate creep. It's when you use an exponential business model to build your structure, i.e. the Federal Reserve's fractional reserve banking system is a 1x10 force matrix with unlimited breakaway. I know a little bit about this stuff. And so the only way that we can beat this is to fight fire with fire, and we reverse that process and we push the value back to the people instead of in the money supply. And Jimmy, you and I have been going through an energy exchange, and I came out, and at the time it wasn't right at the Rainbow for me to pull you aside and we have this discussion, because what we have the ability to do is to monetize someone waking up in the morning, and if what they do that day is sit on the couch and simply drool from a nice batch that just came in from Colorado, that's fine with me if you would just report back to us and tell us what's going on in your neck of the woods. We can eventually build a net, and this is not new. Richard Allen Miller taught us this stuff years ago when I was in the service, and so I'm just applying something that they taught me.
Well, when are you gonna launch this platform?
Jimmy, what I will do is get with Rita, and I need to ease out there, Jimmy, and sit down with you so I can lay this whole thing out, and you'll be very thankful that I didn't just blurt out and shoot this into the ambient without us discussing how we should approach this, because it's something that's going to be so disruptive, and yet I've been able to manage to keep this inside of the walls of Caesar's laws, and we can take it down with Caesar's laws, and on the other side of this, we'll be able to bring up the people. I'm talking about the people sitting on a 5-gallon bucket, chewing on a stick, that think they have no hope, but yes, they do. You know, they do, and we can cause that individual to be able to create value just by the innate value of being human. And it's not about minds or money; it's about passion over profit. But if you don't worry about the mule, just load the wagon, the profit's going to come. But maybe I can shoot Rita a message, and I'll slide out there, and we'll have a burger or something, and I'll lay this out to you. And that's just phase one. And eventually this whole thing is a complete ecosystem that feeds on itself, and that's where your expertise and knowledge and your connections can get us over into the blockchain to be able to secure some of these things up. And we'll be able to post our data over there. I'm going to be going rogue. I'm going to go with the KU band, Jimmy, and I'm just going to go rogue and get the message out. I'll be mobile.
Right.
You know what K-Band
Right.
is.
Of course I do. All right. Well, Randy, you're right, though. It's exciting times. It is. And thank you so much, and let's talk.
I'll holler at Rita, Jimmy.
Talk.
I'm proud of you. Keep spreading the word, bro.
You too, Randy. Thank you so much.
Hold up. Okay, Jimmy.
Great conversation right there. That's Ramblin' Randy out of Texas. And let's see. Do I have time for a couple of more calls? I think I do. Let's go here. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, Jimmy. It's Bueller from Vancouver.
Hey, Bueller from Vancouver. How are you?
I'm fine. We spoke a few months ago about my Kickstarter for my book Black Project. You got copies.
Hey, how are you, man?
I'm fine. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good.
Great show.
I thought you said Bueller. It's Bueller. I thought you said Bueller, like Ferris Bueller. I was like, okay, all right, cool name.
Bueller. I've had that my whole life.
How are you, man? What's going on in your world?
I'm doing good. We're doing good. I just would I've been storyboarding and watching on either on YouTube streaming live or listening to it on Spreaker, and put my kid to bed. My wife went to bed, and I was listening to the show. I just have to call and say it's been fantastic today. Anomaly, what a great conversation, and just thank you for having him on tonight. And it's just been so good to have you on when I work. It's all the time. It's not funny.
So you're I know. Thank you for that. So when you're storyboarding and working on your illustrated I'll just say illustrated novels. Let's go there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because that's what I think they are. And it's extraordinary work that you do. But when you listen to a show like tonight, how inspiring is that? And does it change what you thought you were going to do tonight? Does it change the direction of your art?
It doesn't do anything towards my art, because when we draw and then when we work, we get into, like I mentioned it before, a weird alpha weight mode. So the art and the hand and the pencil take over, and then I start absorbing all this information. All I'm hearing is stuff that's been confirmed about stuff that I've just been sort of questioning. When people mention something, I just go, well, why is that? Well, why is that? Why isn't anyone asking why these things are happening? Meanwhile, I'm drawing some sort of monster chopping heads off.
Right.
And you know what I mean? It's so counter to what it is. But it's such good mind candy for me. At the same time, my body is doing its job the way it's supposed to, sort of like you're on a treadmill.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's and just like Anomaly saying, like with Roseanne Barr, I don't know if you saw the Roseanne Barr interview.
I did.
Had it on
I did.
Joe Rogan as well. It was fantastic. And I'm like, there's something else going on here. And when people are talking about, she did an insensitive tweet, people aren't saying something like, what was she on? And why does this drug that's so widely available to people making them so sick? And they don't remember anything. It's like the people are becoming Tyler Durden from Fight Club.
Yeah, Tyler Durden. Let me ask you a question. You've been following this show for a very long time, and you know how many comic book artists out there listen to this show and are inspired by it and create during this show, and you're aware of all of that. What is it about you guys and Fade to Black? Isn't it crazy? I mean, some of the greatest comic book artists in the world listen to Fade to Black, and they send me their artwork and the Fade to Black Jimmy Church images that were done by Michael Oeming, and I have others that I've never posted. But I've got a pretty good collection going from you guys out there. What is it about this show that draws you guys in? What is it? Is it the conspiracy stuff? Is it the paranormal? Is it time travel? What part of it that draws you guys to this program?
Well, I think because our job is to create fantasy. And the fact that we're drawn to anything that our fantasy might become some sort of a reality. Our thoughts create reality. It happens all the time. I bought a UFO model, the UFO that's in the, the X-Files poster, I Want to Believe.
Yes.
I bought that model. The next day, I ended up getting called to work on Project Blue Book, a TV show for History Channel.
Right.
Like the next day, like these thoughts create reality. So now here I was, a fan of the genre, of the mythology, and here I am taking part in, working on a show that's actually about these things. And the people that called me, they go, "Yeah, can you draw a couple of panels? You got to get this ready for Robert Zemeckis and the producers to look at this tomorrow night. Can you draw that fast?" I said, "Sure. Do you know I'm a huge fan of UFOs, and I know about all the Bob Lazar UFO? Am I drawing the Bob Lazar UFO?" It's like, you're not drawing UFOs in this episode, but it's about that stuff. But what's funny is our thoughts race around what if, and then we hear people with these stories that are like, we haven't experienced it. I guess we want to experience it. We sort of experience it through your show, like a conduit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
I think that's what it is, why I'm so drawn to it, too.
The first time that I started to hear from different artists out there, and this goes back to the beginning of the show. Rita and I have a huge collection of some of the most amazing artwork that has been drawn out there by the industry that has been sent in to us, and so fascinating. And some of the drawings and paintings where we have said, you know what, how quick can you do something? Can you do something right now? Like you're saying, right? What History Channel said to you, totally. and to have this artwork created, and it's so fast, and it's so good, and so world class, and all I can think to myself is, and I'm being serious, Beelan, where I just sit back and go, this is our audience. I am so proud of that they are drawn to this show. And now we have that connection between the two of us, and I just love it. I'm just as inspired as you guys are.
Well, thank you. And we love the show. I love the show.
Now, when's the next book coming out?
We're hoping to release the next book, Chapter 4, by September or October. It's 100 pages, so it's taken a long time to get that done properly.
Sure.
But I'm also going to have a new launch of the book previously released. We're going to relaunch them. We're restructuring. We're going to throw a nice shout-out page for you in the back.
Oh, thank you.
And we're going to have... Oh, absolutely, because, it's all about supporting the community, right?
Right.
I mean, we're all a part of the same thing, We're all a part of the same organic goo that makes us love things. And we're going to have all new covers. We're restructuring how we want it to go into the market and appeal to the right marketplace. And it's just about for people that love excitement and love, Netflix binge watching stuff. So we're going to release those ones later, starting in May, and then hopefully by October we'll have Chapter 4 come out. Chapter 5 is written, and Chapter 6 is got the last page written, so I have a good end point. So hopefully people will follow us through then. So I think this year is going to be really good for Black Project and everything else that we want to do for later on.
And keep us posted on that. And of course, that we're here to support you, and anything that you need from us to help the project move along, let us know. We're here for you. And then, of course, we've got to get you back on the show and talk about the release and what the new book is.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Jimmy. And I just want to say, awesome show. I'll listen to you, hopefully, if my kid lets me, tomorrow night. And can't wait.
Yeah, tomorrow night we're going to kick the doors down, guaranteed. Thank you so much, Beelan. Behave and be well. And post something right now on Twitter so I can retweet before the end of the night.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
I'll talk.
Easy, God bless.
You got it, man. And the project, it's called The Black Project, and we had Beelan on the show probably 6 months ago where we went through everything. I've got all of the editions here, but an amazing artist and just a great story that he has put together. I'm very excited about the next book. But it is so cool. I'm looking at Eric Stitt, posting here. The artists that have been involved with Fade to Black, absolutely world-class from the beginning, is something that I'm so proud of. This audience is the best. Tomorrow night right here, John Greenwald, The Black Vault. Get ready for that one. Fade to Black's executive producers Rita Camurian. Show is produced by Hilton J. Palm, Renee, Dennis, and Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vito, and Mark D. Kovar. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy. SpaceboyMusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network. And syndication is KGRA, The Planet. This broadcast only copyrighted 2019 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. Thank you, Anomaly. You can follow Anomaly on Twitter at Legendary Energy. Go find Anomaly on Facebook and check out all of his videos. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Until tomorrow night with John Greenwald and the Black Vault, everybody be safe. Go Beckley Tepe.